Good evening and welcome to Brandenburg. I'm David Gary. Along with me is Drew Bernardi. We're going to bring you tonight's football action straight out of Death Valley. But Drew, this is a fun place to watch a football game.
Oh, it definitely is. This place has an atmosphere that is just like any other that I've seen. The fans get really riled up here. They love their Friday night lights here. And you call it Death Valley, it really is Death Valley. We're actually sitting in a valley. You got the graveyard on top of the hill that it gives it a different kind of atmosphere.
Yeah, whoever gave it the name, they didn't have a whole lot to consider. They look up on the hill up there. There's the graveyard's right up there. You got this sunken field right here, and you can see the sunset off in the distance, and it's going to get dark here in a bit. The lights are going to kick on. It's going to be a Friday night contest. This week, John Hardin's, they come in here as a visitor at 2-3, Meade County 4-1, squaring off against each other. We're going to kick off here in just a second. Meade County is going to be looking to take advantage of a struggling John Hardin defense, Drew, that has allowed an average of 28 points a game.
Oh, yeah, and just in the last 4 weeks, Meade County's on a 4-0 streak where they have destroyed some really good teams. And, you mentioned that John Hardin is giving up 28 points a game. They're also continuously giving up more rushing yards per game. And that's really a bad sign for John Hardin because that's the meat and potatoes of this Green Wave offense.
John Hardin lost to Central Hardin 27-12 last week. That was its first defeat at home last season. They're not gonna face a squad here today that's gonna have the same tenacity defensively as Central threw at them. But this Meade squad, when I want to say that there's not a bunch of big guys on there, there's still some guys on this roster that are 240, 270, 260 on that line. But you're going to see some athletic play tonight. One of the guys to watch out for is Zach Babb. He's 5'11", 200. He's going to go both ways. He's going to run the football a lot today. And Drew, the guy's averaging around 15 yards a carry.
Oh, yeah, he is. And, for the season, he has 669 yards and 9 touchdowns on 51 attempts. It's good enough for 4th in the state in the class.
On the other side of the ball, the John Hardin Bulldogs in white kicking off right now. Watch their number 3, Stephen Livers. He's a guy that he's got a pretty good average per carry, too. We'll talk about that in a bit. Kickoff, we're underway. Meade County's going to start their football game at their own 30. Real quick, want to let you know tonight's broadcast is a Hardin County Educational and Community Television student production. HCEC-TV's division of Hardin County Schools live Channel 1 programming is sponsored in part by Brandenburg Telecom, providing service for all of your telecommunication needs. Meade County 4-1. They've been racking up the yards and the points, Drew, and I think they're going to want to come and get on the scoreboard quick here.
Oh yeah, definitely. This offense is averaging almost 43 points a game in this 4-game winning streak, but starting off with a procedural penalty.
Can't have 2 guys in motion at the same time. Just can't do it. You got to have 7 guys set on the line as we get started. Zane Powers, the quarterback. He's a senior, 5'11", 194 on the roster. Watch him, number 14. Babb, number 11 on that offense. Meade County in the black and green, going from left to right on your TV screen. They run the ball a lot.
Yeah, they do. They run out of that wing T offense, kind of like what we saw Central Hardin run last week.
Here's Powers, a little bit longer to go on a first down play, and what do you know? We've had 2 plays, 2 penalties. It's going to be another illegal procedure.
Yeah, it looks like a false start on this one. It looks like the left tackle may have jumped a little bit before we got that ball snapped.
56, Isaiah Reed for John Hardin has been stuffing the run all season long. Having that guy in front of you might make somebody on the line jump a little early.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit nervous. We saw him a lot last week. He was trying to stuff Central Hardin's run game, and even though they weren't able to do it consistently, he did stop a lot of plays short last week.
Another name you were calling over my shoulder all game long was Kenneth Satcher, number 9. Watch him defensively for this Bulldogs team. He is after the quarterback here, who tosses the football out to the left side, got a receiver wide open. I think it's going to be C.J. Highlander. That seems to be the favorite receiving target for this Meade County Green Wave football team. Highlander's got a handful of catches on the season. That's going to set up 2nd and 8. They got 12 of it back after 2 false start penalties at the beginning. Talking about Satcher, I unofficially, I had him at least 8 tackles last week, and you kept saying his name over and over and over again. He was fighting for that defensive squad.
And there we go. There goes Zach Babb.
This is why Zach Babb has a 15-yard per carry average. He just took a simple play there and went for 24 yards. Even if you stop him on the next play, he's going to have a 12-yard carry.
Exactly.
12 yard per carry average.
Exactly. You know, that's been the most dynamic part of the Green Wave offense all season. You know, like I mentioned, he's got 9 touchdowns on the ground, and he has 12 touchdowns overall. He's got another 3 receiving touchdowns, and he has been a major part of this Green Wave 4-0 run ever since they lost their season opener to Simon Kenton.
We know John Hardin has the ability to score quickly. They've got some big weapons on there, but the question mark has been defense this year, and they need to come up and make some plays like we just saw right there. I've got 21 with the tackle for John Hardin. That's Dakota Reisner, a name we said a couple times last week too, and that was a good open field tackle on a big back, and John Hardin needs to kind of hold their turf here. If they're going to have a chance to pick up a victory on the road out here in Brandenburg, they're going to have to outscore their opponent, and this is an opponent that's been putting 40s up.
Yeah, and then, you know, Reisner, you mentioned him. He made a big play last week against Central Hardin, picking off a pass on a drive that could have sealed it for Central Hardin.
Tosses to Babb, got blocking, a well-designed play, real simple, but picks up good yards, and depending on the spot, I think it's another Green Wave first down.
Yeah, it looks very close, and like I said, you know, Zach Babb, he is the all-purpose man for this Meade County Green Wave offense. You know, they're averaging 318 yards rushing over this 4-game win streak. Overall for the season, 277 yards just on the ground. They are a very run-heavy team.
No chain measurement needed. They're going to move the chains forward. Babb's run picks up a first down, and just like that, they're moving the football. There's not anything too complicated about that. It's just a pitch right, Drew, with good execution.
Yeah, you get that good blocking up front, good execution, and you're going to rip off chunks of yards, especially against this John Hardin team.
Here's a simple dive up the middle to the back 25. That's Deshaun Welsh, a little bit bigger than Babb, 5'10", 220. He's a junior.
Yeah, he's got kind of that fullback build to him. You know, he's got the guy that's going to get you the tough yards. You're going to want to bring him in when you need a couple short yards. But, I mean,
if
you
a
see
fullback dive can pick up 4.5, 5 yards a carry, you'll take that all day long. It takes a little pressure off of Babb, and it doesn't allow multiple players to zone on him.
It does, and it gives this Meade County offense another weapon.
Powers, under center, got a man in motion again. This time it gets to Babb. Babb bounces off a couple of Bulldogs and moves forward. Meticulous drive, 2.5 minutes off the clock so far, and Meade County just moving the ball forward. Aside from, you know, the way this drive started with 2 procedure penalties, that's certainly not how any offensive coordinator draws up a drive, but right now they're doing what Meade County would like to do today.
And, you know, we've seen a lot of teams that the procedural penalties are just drive killers for them. It just stalls any momentum. But I guess there's no momentum to stall when you have none to begin with, and they've certainly made up for it.
3rd and short. Powers has got Highlander out left. He's going to keep it inside to the fullback again here, and he's tough. He picks up a couple of tough yards. Again, depending on the spot, he may very well have a Green Wave first down. Looks like a pretty generous spot, actually, so I'm going to go ahead and call it. And they're going to be moving the chains forward, and they are. 25, that's like I said, Deshaun Welch. His average per carry is pretty decent too when you think about it. If you're gauging running backs, you like your running back to have more than a 3.5 yard per carry average. And right now Meade County as a whole, as a team, averaging about 8.5 yards a carry. Here's Powers. He's just going to take it up the middle, and that's an interesting story in itself. The last time we saw Green Wave on our HCEC broadcast, it was Powers going for a 2-point conversion that didn't happen. But if you're a Green Wave faithful, you don't want us telling that story about the game that almost was against North Hardin last year.
Yeah, very competitive game, and I tell you what, that's one play that I bet the Green Wave wish they had back is just that 1 2-point conversion. But I tell you what, this team looks good. It looks even better than we saw them last year.
We saw that last year, that Powers, if he sees a good split, if John Hardin's not, if they're cheating outside a little bit to try to take that away from Babb, he's going to just call his own number and go up the middle. And there's Babb right off right tackle. Again, nothing really fancy about that, just good execution. And I got to say, if I'm a guessing guy and if I'm just looking down at this football field, Drew, I'm saying that the right side of that Green Wave line probably gives up 15 to 35 pounds to each one of the linemen for John Hardin. So it's just all about position and execution on these plays. Right now, Meade County are looking good.
Yeah, they are. They're looking very good, and they're getting this rushing offense going early, which is not something that John Hardin wants to see.
Powers with the snap, pitches to Babb. That play worked earlier, works again. He keeps moving it forward on first down. They spot him down around the 7.
And important here for Meade County, they can actually get a first down without scoring a touchdown. The line to gain is just about at the 1-yard line.
Good to know. I won't say second and goal. Almost did. Powers got options. Only thrown the football once, and they don't really throw it unless they have to, but they do once in a while just to keep it honest. And I'm not expecting a toss to the end zone. That's when he'll probably throw to the end zone. Nope, goes to the fullback inside. Little resistance, Powers forward, and that's Zane Powers handing off to Deshaun Welch. Touchdown, Green Wave. Hey, that's how they drew it up.
That is exactly how they drew it up. Bounced it out to the outside after starting to cut up to the right, cut it back to the left, and just found open field. Had to bounce off a couple of Bulldogs there, but made short work of them.
Number 33, Luis Bravo, for the extra point attempt.
33, the kicker, Luis Bravo. Kick is down. Snap is down, and he missed. Missed the kick. Wide left. 6-0. That's where we're at right now. 7 minutes to play in the first quarter. Drew, we're going to talk about one of our sponsors. Physical Therapy Associates. More personal attention for more effective results. They have locations in Elizabethtown, Hodgenville, Radcliffe, Brandenburg, Bardstown, and Louisville. Find them online at physicaltherapyky.com. Tonight's broadcast is an HCEC student production. A little bit later, when the students bring us up a list of who's working today, we're going to give them a shout out, or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, because without them, Drew, we wouldn't be on TV.
No, we wouldn't be, and they put in a lot of hard work. It's hot out here. You wouldn't think it's September for as hot as it is. And
it is kind of. It was 91 at one point in time today, depending on where you were standing, but or if my car was lying to me or not. But it's a warm day for late September. We've been here and done these games in early October, and it'll be kind of chilly. Coat weather. No coats tonight.
Yeah, no coats tonight, but big props to the students that are in the truck, and they're all on top of this press box right now out in the elements.
33, Bravo to kick. I mentioned earlier, this is a great place to watch a football game. The people out here in Brandenburg, Meade County, they know how to do football. They've got a cool pregame ritual they got going on out there. The boosters are all selling cool stuff. Everybody's wearing green here. The kids are into it. They got a huge cheerleading squad. The band's playing. Just everything about this feels like Friday Night Lights in the way it should be. And I'm really happy for those fans who come out and support this program that they're off to a great start.
Yeah, off to a great start. And that kick went out of bounds, which is going to give John Hardin great field position. But that's almost how you want to draw it up when you have someone like Stephen Livers that's standing back there, such a dynamic player for this John Hardin offense.
We're a few weeks into the season, and Meade County's coaching staff, they know who Stephen Livers is. He's no secret that he's one of the more dynamic and explosive offensive players in the league, and you don't want to kick it to him. It's safe. Just kick it out of bounds. They have the option to start the drive right there. If you have a kicker that can put it in the end zone, that'll work too. Here we go. I believe Witherspoon is our quarterback. Tonight we're going to see a few people. And speaking of Livers, he didn't surprise anybody in the Meade County team. They are expecting him to get the ball a bunch today. And as much as I will praise Stephen Livers, if you're John Hardin, you've got to have something else to go to.
Yeah, you do. You can't just go through him. I think that was a lot of what Central Hardin did last week that enabled them to really control the Bulldogs, is that they kept the pressure on Stephen Livers and they took him out of the equation.
John Hardin's used a few quarterbacks this season. I believe got Caleb Fitzgerald taking the snaps. I chalked it up to Witherspoon. We're going to see a couple guys throw the ball today, perhaps. Speaking of throwing the ball, dangerous toss outside.
Very lucky to get that ball.
Bobbled. It's Javon Blunt, and he's a senior, and he didn't quite grab that firmly, and I believe that was a forward pass, but it looked like one of those that could have been interpreted as going backwards. If he didn't catch it, probably an incomplete pass, but dangerous.
Very dangerous, and if they did rule that a backwards pass, they were very lucky to get back on top of that, because there were 3 or 4 members of the Green Wave that were right on top of him when he bobbled that ball.
We're a little bit far away. I'm confusing 5, 6, and 8 as far as football players go today. Witherspoon's the wide receiver out right. He's open, and this one goes off his hands.
Yeah, and he was open, and another one that John Hardin is lucky on, because once again, there were members of that defense right behind that ball when it bounced off his hands. That could have very well been an interception, and with the clear green on that side of the ball, it would have been 6.
Fitzgerald threw a laser there, hot shot that Witherspoon couldn't get a hold of. The earlier play that I was calling an incomplete pass actually was considered a completion and a fumble, so that set John Hardin back. They're going to start off with a -9. You know, last week, Drew, they only had 60-something yards in the first half against Central Hardin. 50 of them came on one play.
Yeah, 50 of them.
With like 15 seconds left in the first half. So they got shut down early, and they don't want to get in that hole again today. Kick is fielded by 8 for Meade County.
It's going to be Cole Miller.
Miller with a pretty decent return. Green Wave with a good starting position for this drive. You know, and they just score points.
Yeah, that's in. You know what? Against a team like John Hardin, if you can control the line of scrimmage and control the clock, then you're going to take them out of this game very easily. And, I mean, you know, we don't see a lot of passing out of this Meade County team, so they chew up clock their entire drive.
First drive was a touchdown. Point after was missed wide left. Here we go. Powers to Babb. This has been a successful combination all season long, but not on this play. They have got that snuffed out. And before I check it out, before I check him out and write him off, how about that? Babb tries to get back to the line of scrimmage. Great individual effort there. He broke a couple of tackles. Looked like he was going to break away, and that's kind of the stuff we see Livers do for the other side.
Yeah, he's very hard to bring down, and he fought all the way back and just about got it back to the line of scrimmage. And I'm going to be honest, I think if he breaks 1 or 2 more tackles, he might be still running.
I had him I had already wrote him off for a loss of about 7 or 8, but he just kept spinning and breaking tackles. And I think, you know, that's the sort of reason why John Hardin's just taking a timeout here. Not completely sure why, but sometimes when you see that when you're on the coaching staff, you want to let people know, hey, you can't just put your hand on a guy to bring him down. It doesn't work like that. You're going to have to wrap him up in the backfield. That could have been dangerous. So it might have been a motivational pep talk. Nonetheless, let's see how the Bulldogs react defensively after a big stop there.
Yeah, Babb's not somebody you're going to bring down with an arm tackle. You've got to wrap him up, get him to the ground, and don't let go until he hits the ground.
You don't have an average of 15-plus yards a carry without breaking off some big ones, but, you know, somebody can't run for 70 on every play. So once in a while, he's going to get stopped, but definitely has a big play capability. Speaking of Babb, he's 11, and he's lined up in a wingback roll out left. Look for him to go in motion on the play. Here's Powers. Not going in motion, looking to throw the football. It's out to Highlander. Highlander bobbles it, catches it. Good tackle out there by John Hardin. Not a big gain. You can do that sort of thing when you got a guy that's running the ball for 15 yards a carry. You put him on the left side of the field, and no one's looking to the right.
Exactly, you know, and that's the kind of thing that this offense likes to do. They like to run the ball a lot, and they only want to pass every once in a while. But when you focus in so much on the run, you're going to leave those short passing lanes open.
3rd and 5 for the Green Wave. They got Babb in motion. This play works a lot. They pitch it out right, and he picks up almost enough for a first down. If that's not a first down, it's going to be a no-brainer to go for it. I think he's going to get a generous spot and probably picked up the yardage. If this linesman on this side is any indicator, I think he gave him a pretty good, fair spot.
Yep, and that is going to be a first down for the Green Wave.
It is. And how valuable is that to your game plan if you just got a guy that you know is going to pick up 4, 5, 6 yards of play and could take it to the house on any play too.
Yeah, it's a valuable weapon on this offense. You know, they're definitely going to miss him next year. He's a senior this year, and just showing off athleticism.
Gives up the middle to the fullback, and I'll tell you what, Deshaun Welch has been picking up some yards that he's got to earn. He's got the big guy role in there, and he scored the touchdown earlier, and he's moving the stick forward too. So Meade County can run the rock. There's nothing except deep about this game plan. They're just saying, hey, we're going to run the ball, and you can try to stop us, John Hardin, or not.
Well, and that's the thing. When you're Meade County, it's good to have a guy who's in the top 5 in rushing, but you got another guy there in Welch who's in the top 20 in rushing in the state.
They run the ball. Here's Welch again. Bounces off a tackle and plows forward. Picks up yards, which I think can get him the first down, and it is. The chain guys are already moving on that. Tough running.
Very tough running, and this John Hardin defense just can't seem to slow it down, can't seem to stop it. They're just getting chunks and chunks of yards, and you got to wonder at some point, are one of these two guys going to rip off a big play?
We've seen the Bulldogs a couple of times already this season, and they've got some ballers on that side of the field defensively. I'm sure the coaching staff scratching their head right now, wondering how are we going to get this together, because individually there's a bunch of good football players over there. So sometimes it's just a team unit needs to play together a little bit and get it together. Here's a toss out left. I have to say that they run the ball a lot, so when you do pull back and throw the football, Powers look good there, connecting with number 2, Brock Wilson. He's a senior.
We do have a flag on the play, but I'm not sure exactly what it is.
It'll be a holding play, negating a nice pass. Call it at the line. It'll set up probably about a 1st and 20-ish.
That's not something you want to have happen when you get this offense rolling, get the momentum behind you. You can't have something like habeas grabus bringing you back.
Well put. Call it a spot foul. So the hold must have been downfield, Drew, for them to count it off and have it still be within the original stick. So this is going to be a 1st down, and we'll call it 6.5 yards. How about that? Powers the quarterback. He thought about throwing the football. He's going to have to do a little dancing and get free. He is going to throw the ball, and it goes right off the hands of his intended receiver. I think that was Nate Hawley trying to make the grab there.
Yeah, that was Nate Hawley trying to make the grab. Tell you what, a nice move. We talk about Zach Babb making some moves. How about the move by Zane Powers to miss the big man coming through that line?
Powers pulled that handoff back, and he all of a sudden saw a couple of Bulldogs up in his mix. He got fast real quick and got out to the right, got that ball off. And, we sometimes assume that a guy doesn't have quarterbacking skills if a team runs a whole lot. But from what we've seen of him, he throws the ball pretty straight and accurate. I like the fact that they have that in their arsenal if they need it. I'm sure Meade County doesn't want to have to throw the football, but when they do, they seem to do all right.
Yeah, they do, and like I said earlier, the run game takes a lot of pressure off of that passing game. So when you have to pass, you've got open lanes because they're still focusing on guys like Babb.
3rd and short. If I was to cast my lots, I would be looking at number 25 taking this for the 1st down, and guess what? So is John Hardin. Put a stick on him, and the ball goes flying out. We've got a turnover. That's the kind of emotional, uplifting football that the John Hardin Bulldogs need to play defensively.
And I believe recovering that fumble and possibly causing it was big number 9. That was Kenneth Satcher. We talked about him a lot last week.
It reminds me of some of the footage you saw of Jadavian Clowney that used to just blow up running backs in the backfield. You don't normally see a big running back take a pop like that and have it affect him, but there was some contact in this contact sport on that play.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Now John Hardin needs to capitalize on this. You can't have a 3-and-out after a turnover. You've got to get down there and score some points, at least get a field goal on the board.
When the Bulldogs are rolling, they've got Livers running off the right tackle. If you see Livers in motion, he's always a threat to pick up the ball running-wise. But here we go. They're looking to throw the rock, and he's got all kinds of time. How about that? Here's a toss that's connected with Anthony Witherspoon. Doubles all the way back to the original line of scrimmage, but he's still upright and moving, and it's going to be about a 9-yard gain. Fun stuff right there. Caleb.
I believe the spot that the far judge has given him, he might have grabbed that 1st down.
Caleb Fitzgerald. He was all pass right there. He had Livers to the left, he had Witherspoon to the right, and he was ready to throw. So you're right, that was a generous spot, and John Hardin will take it. Big defensive stop there, getting down 2 on the road. You don't want to be that team.
Great pass protection by that John Hardin offensive line. He had all day to throw.
1st and 10. We'll say Bulldogs on the move. They went backwards 9 yards on their first drive, and that led to a punt. And here we are. Minute 50 left in the first quarter. 6-0 Meade County. Give is inside. Reinheimer. These guys that wear 25 on their jersey are very, for both teams, very, very similar in their stature and the roles that they play for the football teams. They pick up the yards that they aren't good-looking yards. They're the ones that you have to earn.
No, they're the tough yards in the trenches that you need your big fullback to pick up. But I tell you what, this John Hardin team is going to find a lot of a lot of difficulty, a lot of tough sledding trying to run against this Meade County defense.
Quarterback is Caleb Fitzgerald. Lined up all the way out left is Darian Davis. Watch for him to grab the ball. We saw that earlier in the season. He's able to get some separation from defenders. A speedy guy out there. Not a big pickup, and John Hardin doesn't want to be in these third and long situations.
Definitely not. You know, I mentioned earlier that this Meade County defense is tough. You're talking about a team that they gave up 47 points in their opener, but since then they have averaged only 8.5 points given up.
3rd and 8. Look for him to throw here. John Hardin, a little bit of confusion looked like. Tosses outside, maybe a little short. Very much so, a little bit short to Stephen Livers. Livers at separation. You get the ball in that guy's hands, anything can happen, but that's where the Bulldogs' drive is going to stop. If there's any bit of a plus here, they didn't give up points. And with a good punt here, they could switch starting field position in their favor, and their defense has an opportunity to help them out again. So here we go. Punting formation, 4th and 6. Fumbled the snap. There's a rush. Not a great punt, but gets it away to a guy that didn't have any intention of returning the football when this play started, but that's going to be 26 for Meade County. Zach Carter. Zach was just back there to block, and they kicked it right to him, so why not? Get on the stat sheet with a punt return. And so much for flipping the field, Drew. They're going to start pretty close to their logo.
Yeah, and I tell you what, though, I'll say this. John Hardin, a lot of lucky breaks tonight. That was another one that could have been disastrous. When you drop the ball on the punt, a lot of times you're going to see a block right after that. But good job on the protection by this John Hardin offensive line once again. Just barely keeping Meade County out of the way long enough for him to get that punt off.
Zane Powers, the quarterback. Inside to the fullback. He's got moves and power bouncing off people. That one looked good. So much for me saying earlier that that's not a good-looking run. Yeah, that was a good-looking run. Now, he's picking up a majority of the yards running. We'll see some Zach Babb a little bit later. Deshaun Welsh with the carry and another Green Wave first down.
Yeah, you're talking about, like I said, this is one of the highest averaging and, just highest getting rushing offenses in the state.
The last time these two got together, John Hardin was the 42-21 victor. Right now, Meade County leads this one 6-0. Our first quarter is over. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come right back as the action returns here in Brandenburg.
Stand up and jump, folks.
Live action on the field. Thanks for joining us tonight. We are in Brandenburg at Meade County High School, Meade County Green Wave with the football. They're on the right side of your screen, taking on John Hardin, the visitors. Meade County trying to keep this winning streak alive. They've won 4 in a row, and a lot of the successes come because of runs like that. That's Zach Babb picking up a pretty good chunk of yards there on first down. We're going to give him, let's give him 7.5 yards. Setting up a manageable second down. Babb passed the torch, I guess, a little bit to his fullback, but I think we'll see him a few times before this game's over.
I think we will too. Like I said, you're talking about this 4-game win streak. How about we go back a couple weeks to when they had 582 rushing yards against Shelby County. 286 of those were from Zach Babb.
That's a lot of rushing yards. Here we go. rumbling, bumbling, stumbling up the middle. It's going to be number 2 with the rock, Brock Wilson.
And again, just taking pressure off of Zach Babb, taking pressure off of Deshaun Welch by running other guys. And when you're looking as a defender at that backfield and you see Babb back there and you see Welch back there, of course he wasn't on the field for this last play, but you see those guys back there, you automatically key in on those guys, and you don't think about somebody like Brock Wilson running the ball.
Powers got both of his leading rushers in the backfield here. Here's Welch. Welch just goes right off a left guard and keeps on rumbling, bumbling, and stumbling. Just great execution up there by that Meade County line. Sometimes you can give up weight, you can give up size, but your positioning is the fundamental tactic behind it all. All you got to do is give just enough resistance and get a guy going in the right direction or the correct direction, and your running back does the rest.
Exactly, and like you said, they just opened up a hole on the left side, and when you're a running back and can see all that green open field in front of you, you just got to explode.
We'll start taking some notes of these Meade County Green Wave linemen. They're the ones getting it done out there. I'll just pick 51 as one of those guys on the roster. That's Dylan Lancaster, 5'9". I mean, that's not NFL lineman size or anything like that, but he's 203. He's out there getting it done. That's the guy I'm seeing making blocks play after play, and I know the guys across the line of scrimmage from him are about 40 pounds heavier than that on the roster.
Oh, yeah, they are, but I tell you what, when you get just that right angle on them, you can open them like a set of double doors, and that's exactly what this Meade County offense has been doing.
Cale Wilson is the center out there, at least on this play. Look at there. He just sealed off his guy, made just enough contact. Perhaps not the best example of the result of a play, but 54 center did his job there. He just doesn't let anybody get where that play is going. The play was to Babb. That's going to set up a 3rd and long. Last time we saw Meade County in this situation, John Hardin stepped up, made a defensive play that got him the football back. Meade County probably 2-down football here. Kicking game not as strong as others in the area. This is not in their operational range, so certainly thinking 2 plays, so you don't have to try to wing it out here for 10 on this play.
No, you don't. You just have to pick up a good chunk of yards.
Speaking of winging, they're going to wing. And here's a toss out to Highlander on the far side. That just didn't happen. Powers had a little less time than I think he would have liked to have had. 4th and 11, looking to coach for what are we doing here. Nobody's punting on that far downfield, so they're going to try something here. And guess what? I might have discredited this kicking game or the confidence their coach has in it. They're going to try to boot this one, Drew.
Yeah, and you know what? That might be the smartest thing to do. Either way, if you turn it over, you're going to give it up right there at that line. So why not try to put some points on the board with it?
This will be a 40-yard boot, and I will apologize if he hits this with distance to spare. If he does, it's going to be dropping right in his classmates, the band members. Here's something else to think. A good old-fashioned hard count buys you 5 yards. I've been talking about that for 2 years in a row. Hats off to you, Coach. They had no intention of kicking that field goal at all, Drew. They just came out and hard counted and bought their offense 3 yards. A tip of the cap.
I tell you, that's the first time I've ever seen that happen with a field goal attempt that they've drawn them off sides.
Boy, guys are gung-ho when you start teeing up from 40 yards for a field goal. They're wanting to block it. They're wanting to block it, and all it takes is a real good go, 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 and you're going to get a little bit closer. I like Zach Babb's chances of picking up this on the ground, but don't be surprised if they throw the rock here. Modified pistol. Welsh is the back to the right of Powers. Powers rolls out, makes a liar out of me, and sure enough, they're throwing. They're going to try to play to Highlander again, and that's just not going to happen. Bulldogs hold their end of the field and don't give up any points, but Meade County had another good drive there. Stall.
Yeah, it did, and you know what? I think Zane Powers just a little too much on both of those throws. If he brings that in just a little bit, that's a first down, possibly even a touchdown if he can get around that corner, but he's just got to bring it off just a little bit, a little too much power.
That's a long way to toss the rock out there, too. It's a dangerous toss if you don't have a lot of zip to it. We've seen him rolling left. He seems to have a little bit more of a rocket arm, but that toss out to the right, he and Highlander are going to have to throw that one a few more times in practice next week and hook up on that, because Highlander's had the separation. He's been open. Speaking of separation, he's got no one around him right now. He is the left cornerback. Look at him on defense there for Meade County. A little trickery from John Hardin, a little double give inside. Witherspoon ends up with a rock. All told, it's a 4-yard pickup, but throwing a little razzle-dazzle in there.
Yeah, this is the kind of things you have to do against a tough defense like this Meade County team. You can't just run it straight down their throats because they're going to shut you down every time. So you got to do a little bit more. You got to get somebody out in open space.
John Hardin moving the football. 2nd down, and let's call it 4.5. Witherspoon in motion. He can either run it, throw it, catch it. He's going to run it this time. He's got blockers outright, but wow, there's a pop out there defensively. Real quick, that's Zach Carter, the defensive back out there in big 52. That's Kobe, I'm going to say Nicolau. I don't mean to insult anybody's family name or anything, but I'm going to call him Kobe Nicolau. 6'2", 243. I better watch what I'm saying if I say there's no big guys out there, because 52 made a football play that only a big guy can make there.
Oh, yeah, he did. And I tell you what, I bet Witherspoon's going back to the huddle still feeling that one because he got popped. He got stood up, and then somebody came and cleaned him up.
That's just fun football right there. 3rd and 2. He still ended up with a positive gain just from sheer willpower, but Meade County has an opportunity to get their football back, and I think they want it. Here we go. John Hardin. Bulldogs have Witherspoon in motion going left. He's not going to get the ball. Instead, it's going to go up the middle. I believe it's Reinheimer. It is. And Meade County has seen that on the film all too often in short yardage plays. John Hardin Bulldogs stuffed. He's not going to pick up the 1st down. Guys on their offense pleading with their coach to let him go for it, but I'm not sure you got to do that in a 6-point game this early and on that side of the football field.
Tell you, Livers threw a heck of a block on the outside there. Maybe held it a little too long right there. That saw some aggression out on that side of the field.
We saw our friend the hard count on a field goal opportunity for Meade County. Could that be what we're seeing lined up here for John Hardin? A little early in the game. And really on their side of the football field to be going for it here. I'm surprised. They are, and they are confident. Guess what? Meade County said no. You will not pass.
Yeah, that was a stuff. And I tell you what,
I hope I give the right credit to it. It's one of the 70s out there. I think that was 72. James Machado, 5'8", 223. Either that or Brian Pratt. One of those guys, big guys in there. I won't say there's no big guys in the team because I don't care how big he is. That was a big football play, and I'm scratching my gray hair right now, Drew, and wondering, unless you had no confidence in your punter, why do you go for it there?
and you got to wonder if that earlier dropped punt may have led to something like that. But I mean, it's still a little bit early to be risking something like that on your own side of the 50-yard line.
Here's Powers. Green Wave and their faithful are pumped. He was thinking about passing there, and John Hardin had a different idea. You know, for a couple of teams that put up some crooked numbers offensively from time to time, these guys are actually playing some defense against each other. That's a sack by 52 for John Hardin.
5-yard loss on the play.
Give me a moment. Dominic Hope.
31-yard line.
He's going to like that one on the film.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly.
That was all Dominic Hope. He just dissed his lineman and got a sack.
Yeah, definitely. That's the kind of things you like to see when you're a defensive lineman, just wide open. Nobody blocked him all the way to the quarterback.
Powers got a Highlander on the left-hand side here. A little neutral zone infraction. Giving Hope a little bit too much shout out on that last one. He had some unused energy from all the praise we were giving him. And he got excited. He was wanting to repeat what he did last time and kind of crossing the neutral zone. You know, back in the day, you used to be able to kind of jump up in there and get back. But now if they think that you've gone a little too far, play's done, and it's going to be a 5-yard march off. And that's what we have here. So 2nd and 10. It's kind of back to the original starting line of scrimmage for them. Babb goes in motion, but instead this is a give up the middle. That's been working for him. I think it's 25 Welsh. It is.
And I'll tell you what, that right up the middle running, the thing is with John Hardin, they're trying to keep the edges, defended because they know at any moment Zach Babb could be coming around that edge with the ball and he could be gone in an instant. And sometimes when you're trying to focus on those edges, you leave that middle open, and that's exactly what Meade County's taking advantage of.
3rd and 7, probably 2-down territory here. Babb goes right off right tackle, decides to cut it back left, and it's just amazing to me what kind of sense he has as to where his linemen are, because he didn't really have a lot of help on that play, and he made that happen all on his own, setting up a very manageable 4th and 1. Now, here, this is a no-brainer, Drew. You've been running that ball inside, with the exception of a fullback run that led to a fumble earlier. I think everybody in the house knows that Welsh is going to get the football here, or we've seen Powers' quarterback sneak it.
Exactly, and if you're John Hardin, you can't pinch inside too much expecting that middle run, because you still have to worry about that outside run with Zach Babb. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Bulldogs play this.
Fundamentals tell you to keep it simple, and guess what? Here's Powers, Welsh, simple, boom. Just rumbles and stumbles forward to the 7, set up a 1st and goal. The best fundamental coaches out there, and all the conventional wisdom is, if you've only got 3 feet to gain, you don't want to be going too far laterally. You don't want too many people to touch the football, so your best bets are just to go right at them.
Go right at him, and you go there with the biggest guy you got, big number 25, that fullback position, and he not only got what he needed, but he got a lot more.
You need a yard, you got a guy that's 2 yards tall and tough. Yeah, I like those odds. Here we go. Green Wave trying to add to their 6-point lead. They scored first. John Hardin hasn't been able to get on the board. Here's Babb. He's got blockers, and he just puts his head down, takes a big chunk of the 7 yards needed to get from the end zone. Works into their plan. Meade County ticking time off the clock. It looks to be an opportunity to add to their lead. I say it every week. People are probably getting tired of me, but my rule of 11. You can go into your own locker room, or even on the road. In high school football, up by 11, you're liking your chances of winning.
Exactly.
You just play some defense, you kind of simplify your offense in the second half, and I'm sure the statistics back me up on that. 11-point lead at halftime, you're liking it. Here's the pitch to Babb. Babb has nothing but clear space in front of him. And that's what happens when you have great success just running up the middle, Drew. Everybody was expecting to see Welsh up the middle, and the speedy Babb just takes it toward the corner and add another touchdown to his growing list.
Yeah, and not only does that put another score on the board for Meade County, but if you're John Hardin, you just watched Kenneth Satcher, your big number 9, getting up very, very slowly, very gingerly. So not a good play at all for the Bulldogs.
Lewis Bravo missed his first PAT. A little bit of timing off there, and puts this boot up, and this one's through. He cleared everybody in the band, got to the kids playing on the hill out there, and they'll enjoy their moment of grabbing the football, maybe at least until they one day suit up and play for the Green Wave. 13-0, the home team doing well. Speaking of the home team, Brandenburg Telecom provides service for all of your telecommunication needs, including putting us on the air. And thank them for their sponsorship. West Point Bank, 5 offices located in Elizabethtown, Radcliffe, Upton, Glendale, and West Point. You find them online too at westpointbank.com. Let them help you make your life simpler. West Point Bank, hometown banking made simple. Also, today's broadcast brought to you by E-Town Exterminating, 737-6900. Find them online at mugabug.com. John Hardin, we talk about explosive players. We talk about their opportunity to score. Well, we're going to need to see that from them before this half ends. Don't want to let this game get away from them. Season's still got a few games ahead before you start playing playoff games that count. And the games ahead are going to determine whether you're hosting playoff games or going a long way away to playoff games.
Yeah, and definitely you like to have that home field advantage anytime, but in the playoffs it's extremely important. Right now, John Hardin on the wrong side of the 8 ball.
I'm sure Bravo's been told don't kick it to number 3, but I'll tell you what, Anthony Witherspoon is a guy I don't really want to kick it to either, so look for a dribbler. And he makes a liar out of me, and I better not say he doesn't have a leg, because that's the best defensive play in football, kicking into the end zone.
Oh yeah, definitely, and Witherspoon, Livers,
Coach loved it. Came out there and gave him a jump and bump, and I'm not going to say anything about Lewis Bravo. He missed his first PAT. All I was saying is that they don't have the strongest kicking game in the area, but that was a strong enough boot to be a great defensive play. And look at where this drive starts.
Yeah, and that's when you want to pin him deep and you want to keep it away from those awesome returners. Like I said, you talk about Stephen Livers, who's held to 76 yards last week, but 50 of those came on one play. When you can rip off a 50-yard touchdown, That is the definition of an explosive player, and Livers is the most explosive player on this John Hardin offense.
I don't have an argument for that. We've seen him do some simply amazing stuff in the several games that we've covered of theirs over the last couple of years. John Hardin keeping it on the ground inside. Didn't get a peek at who that was, but guess what? We were talking about him. He got the rock. That's Livers there. He'll get a couple of those short gains, those 2-yard, 3-yard, 4-yard, but it's the 77-yarders that really are impressive. Sometimes it's just not how you drew it up. This is a guy that can cut back across the field and make stuff happen just with his own ingenuity and willpower, and he's just fun to watch.
And I think the turf monster got him on that one, or he might have had 4 or 5 on that one.
Reinheimer in motion. Hard count. Here's Livers again. This is a play that he succeeds at, and Meade County had that snuffed out pretty well. Scouted well. They're definitely not going to give up the easy stuff off the tackle that we've seen Livers pick up some of his biggest gains on. 3rd and 5. Bulldogs have to look for that additional weapon. If you're just going to rely on Livers and maybe Reinheimer picking up a couple of yards here or there, maybe you think about your quarterback running a little bit. Maybe you do something else, but they can't put it all on the young man wearing number 3. Because that's easy to game plan against.
It is, and Central Hardin did that a lot last week.
Here's a designed throw, a good ball downfield. Livers and a little bit of contact, and I think the ref's going to listen to his pleas.
If you're a defender, you have got to get your head around, and you cannot trap an arm, and I believe that's what just happened. He didn't get his head around all the way, but he also had a hold of one of the arms of Stephen Livers.
When that ball's in the air, you can't be making contact, and there was enough there to merit the flag. Livers is right, and that's going to be a big play. Now, in high school football, it's not the same as the pros, Drew. They don't put it where the contact was made. They give him a 10-yard penalty and move the chains. 15-yard penalty and move the chains forward. It's not an automatic first down. So that's an interesting tidbit that I learned from Bobby Thompson a couple weeks back. He was telling me that sometimes it's not a bad defensive play. If you're inside the red zone, you just go ahead and foul again. Doesn't put it at the 1 or anything like that. Here we go. Well, we're going to throw the rock again. This time it is Witherspoon throwing the football.
Pass was complete to number 41, Darian Davis.
I believe that was Davis.
Passes outside to Davis. I get a little confused. Like I said, the 5 and 8 can look a little bit similar to me. And Witherspoon does about everything for this team. He catches the football, lines up as a wide receiver, lines up in the backfield, goes in motion, takes reverses, jumps in at quarterback. We saw him earlier in the season go in motion. He started the game as the team's quarterback, went into motion as a wide receiver, didn't come back to that position, say, until 2 weeks later.
Yeah, and you like to have an all-purpose guy like that can do a little bit of everything because it throws another wrench into the defense's plan.
Somebody's not where they're supposed to be on this play, and now that they got that squared away, offense is moving. Witherspoon, little dump out to Reinheimer. I like the play. It's enough to pick up a first down. It's going to put it on the Meade County side of the field. 13-0 is where we're at. If you're John Hardin, you got to panic, but the time's not working for you. You got less than 2 minutes, and you want to come away with some points on this drive.
It looks like they're going to take a timeout and think about this one. If the run game's not working, sometimes you have to go to that pass game, and it looks like that the Green Wave may not have the best passing defense right now.
The interesting thing on that play is John Hardin had a little bit of disarray. Somebody was not where they were supposed to be on that. They moved people around. They actually had some success with it. So when you're the coaching staff and you know this is a critical drive of the game, you're going to nip that in the bud right now. You got a first down, might as well calm everybody down, find out what's up, let everybody take a drink of water. And say, we got 2 minutes here. We got to kind of play with a little bit of urgency, but no, we're not going to be crazy. We'll just get forward yardage on each of these plays and just come away, knock down 2 scores. I like that call right there. I like that timeout. I would have probably done the same.
And if you're John Hardin right now, you do have 1 timeout remaining. You kind of want to take a little bit of time off the clock before you score because you don't want to give Meade County the ball back with 3 timeouts and time to work with.
Bulldogs with 4 of their eligible receivers lined up to the right of the quarterback. Now he adjusts and puts Reinheimer back over to the left. We've seen them run out of this formation, and I like it. They put everybody over to the right, and that's where I was going with that. They might set up an isolation with Witherspoon, who takes it off the left end. sometimes shuttle these guys around, Drew. You put everybody off to the right, and the immediate reaction when you're a defensive player, you think that play is going to develop to that side of the field. But if you neglect to recognize that the quarterback is one of the more dynamic athletes in this region, you're going to get beat for 15, 20 yards, and that's exactly what happened there.
Yeah, nothing but green on the left side for Witherspoon right there.
Here we go. Bulldogs on the move. 1:30 to play. Give is inside. I believe that's Stephen Livert. It is. Make something happen. We told you he's excited. He takes a pop, puts his head down, and moves forward. Not the biggest guy around, but he's got some big gains, and that's boom, boom. Whatever Coach dialed up in that timeout, he'll be working.
Yeah, it is. And now John Hardin's got the ball in the red zone. You got somebody like Livers who just, I mean, everybody thought he was down right there, and he pops right back up and takes it for another 10 yards.
Sometimes it's just a big play, big individual play, and we saw Witherspoon pick that up, and that can lift your team up in the morale and change the game. There it is again, Russell Wilson style. Yep, I said it. I made a Seahawk reference, and he just takes it into the end zone. I love it. The read option works. When everybody sells out on that fullback, you got to watch out for the quarterback. He made that look easy, Drew. That was 19 yards for the team.
Yeah, that was an excellent play. You know, like you said, everybody bit on the run to the right side. He looks out to the left side of the field, nothing but open field. What a great play by this John Hardin Bulldogs offense.
Meade County feeling a little confused right now. What just happened to us? They weren't moving at all, but little quarterback switch. Witherspoon is quick, he's fast, he's strong, and you just, if you sell out on that inside run and leave the entire left side of the field undefended, all it takes is a guy to decide he's going to score a touchdown. That's what we saw there. That was great stuff. And we got a good football game. I mean, you and I thought maybe, just looking on the paper and the trends of these two football teams, that we might see a lopsided contest tonight. But I'm seeing some potential for a couple of teams that are going to fight this out in the second half, and I'm not dismissing the ability for Meade County to put some more points on before this 1 minute ticks off. I want to talk about Bluegrass Cellular real quick. They offer the most affordable, unlimited plan anywhere where wireless works. Find them online, bluegrasscellular.com. Tonight, Drew Bernardi with me. John Schartzer could not make the trip to Brandenburg. He'll possibly be with us next week. Drew, good to have you with us. The last time that we worked together broadcasting, it was right here.
Yeah, it was. And,
An exciting football game. How about that? Maybe you don't want to remember it if you're a Meade County faithful, but
very exciting football game. You know, that was a nice back and forth contest between Meade and North Hardin, and it's great to be back, you know, in the commentary position.
Bulldogs to kick. I don't think they want to kick it to bad. Just like Meade County doesn't want to kick it to Livers, but let's see how this comes out. It's not going to make it to the end zone. We will get a return. It's a one-hopper, kind of a dead ball. Somebody better get on that. It's a live ball. There you go. And that's where Meade County's possession is going to start at the 15. Thought about it and kind of left it there, and I'm sure somebody from that Meade County sideline said, pick it up, because that would have been a long, bouncy onside kick if he didn't.
Yeah, and I believe he expected that ball to bounce towards him as it came through, but it didn't. It kind of had a backspin on it and bounced forward. Actually took a Meade County bounce, but he wasn't expecting it and had to dive down on that ball.
The former coach in me hates to see guys fielding punts on one hop, but you got no choice on a kickoff. It's live football out there in the middle of the field, so you got to get it. You got to get it quick. Just cover it up, lay on it, and tip the cap to them for a good kick that's going to start Meade County on their 15. A nice strategic boot. Bowers wanted to run a play, but John Hardin is going to talk about defense a little bit. While they talk about defense, I'll talk about this broadcast. It's brought to you in part by Brandenburg Telecom, Physical Therapy Associates, eTownApartments.com, Bluegrass Cellular, E-Town Exterminating, and West Point Bank. It's a Hardin County educational community television student production. HCEC-TV is a division of Hardin County Schools. Some great folks that are putting this broadcast together. I will give you their names when they give me the list of names. How about that? I know a few of them, and I don't want to leave anyone off it, Drew, but they keep us on the air. It's a lot of fun. People that can't make the trip out to Brandenburg, whether they're at home with kids or just can't make the trip out here, can watch the kids play, and even people here in Brandenburg. Thanks to Brandenburg Telecom, they're able to watch the game live.
Yeah, great thing done by HCEC-TV, you know, and like I said, big props to everybody that's in the truck, everybody that's standing on top of this press box running our cameras.
1st and 10, here's Powers in the victory formation. A little early to be claiming victory, but they don't want to give up the football, and they're winning, and they'll take a 6-point lead back to the locker room, barring any kind of craziness that takes place on a simple snap and kneel. John Hardin not trying to battle with them inside there or whatever. Bulldogs used all their timeouts. That's why you're seeing this, and I think it's a smart fundamental move. You don't want to try to do anything crazy that could give the lead away. Talk about a deflator. That's about as big a one as you can get if you have a mistake.
Yeah,
right before the half that gives the lead away.
Yeah, the smart thing to do if you're Meade County, John Hardin's got momentum behind him. You don't want to give him more momentum. Just kneel it, take it to halftime, and try to get some momentum of your own when you come back from the half.
Meade County scored on their first drive of the football game. John Hardin will have the football to start the second half, and we're going to take it to the half, 13-7. We'll be back as the half begins. We'll be back 2 minutes before the half begins to talk about what we saw in the first half of play and what we expect to see for the second half of play.
Raffle ticket to support the Meade County Band Program for $2. You have an opportunity to win $2,000 for first, for $1,000 for second, or $500 for third. Proceeds go directly to the band program and the drawing is next Friday at homecoming.
Control your home even when you're not there with Brandenburg Telecom's home automation service. Turn lights on and off, lock and unlock doors, and change settings on your thermostat using your smartphone or tablet. Stop worrying whether or not you remembered to close the garage door, and save money by programming your thermostat to reduce energy used when you're not home. Call Brandenburg Telecom for a free quote and enjoy the convenience of having home automation, phone, TV, and internet service, all from one local company.
All right, son, you ready to open your first savings account?
Yes, I am.
West Point Bank has been growing with our customers for over 30 years. We know what it takes to support them in every stage of their life. You need a bank that you know and trust to help you reach your goals and make your dreams come true. West Point Bank, hometown banking made simple.
You have a choice because not all physical therapy is the same.
So when you need physical therapy, come to the one chosen as Hardin County's Reader's Choice winner 4 years in a row.
We are always working to better educate and stay ahead of the latest advancements in physical therapy.
Physical therapy can get you back doing what you love to do.
If you're experiencing pain, loss of mobility, or just want to feel better,
come see us at Physical Therapy Associates in Elizabethtown, Radcliffe, Hodgenville, and now open in Brandenburg.
Hey Elizabethtown, need a new pad? Hop on over to eTownApartments.com or call 268-RENT for all your rental needs. Look for our trucks, they're all over town. We have apartments, townhomes, duplexes, and houses. Remember to hop on over to eTownApartments.com or call 268-RENT for all your rental needs.
Life is made of connections between people, places, ideas, and information. From across the globe to the palm of your hand, Bluegrass Cellular helps you stay in touch with people who take the time to connect and a nationwide network that lets you connect in no time. This month, get a $100 credit when you transfer your existing number. Also, sign up for the Unlimited Family Plan and get 4 lines for under $40 per line. Bluegrass Cellular within
Town Exterminating, a locally owned, family-run pest control company, has been serving Hardin County and the surrounding area since 1976. E-Town Exterminating provides pest control for residential and commercial properties. E-Town Exterminating on Ring Road in Elizabethtown. Phone 737-6900.
E-Town Exterminating, what the buzz is all about.
hello
hello to HCEC-TV's live sports broadcast. Of course, we are sponsored in part by many local businesses, and we're really thrilled to bring you an upcoming season that is packed with some great competition. Joining me today is one of Brandenburg Telecom's sponsors, along with HCEC-TV, is Karen Pollard, who is the property manager at etownapartments.com. Now, in addition to being the property manager, Karen, you also have a familial tie to etownapartments.com. Talk about that.
Yes, I do. My brother, Mark Harris, and I do this together. He's with the construction. He does the construction and builds everything that we rent. We have, that gives us the ability to build what we see the community has a need for. We've got everything from single-level one-bedrooms, we've got 2, 3, and 4 bedrooms, duplexes, townhomes, apartments, single-family homes, brand-new construction family homes. It gives me some diverse stuff to offer the community as well.
That's great. Now, since our last taping, you got some new properties that you want to share.
Yes, we do. We're very excited to be expanding. We have already expanded to Bardstown, Hodgenville, and that has gone over great. We stay full in those communities. We've got new property out on Ring Road, right in the center of Elizabethtown, Tunnel Hill Park Apartments. They are our 2-bedroom, 2-bath location. Those are managed by Amy Smogert, and it just has gone over super great. We're so grateful to the community.
Now, why have you feel that it's important to branch out?
Well, we just keep seeing the need. With more and more people are going forward renting now. That a lot of folks are wanting to get away from the home maintenance and things of that nature. So more and more people, and as our factories are growing, we have more and more need. People coming new to the area, they want to get settled in, find out where they want to be to call their permanent home. And we've branched out to Bardstown and Hodgenville because we've seen the need there. They're both great communities. Bardstown's voted one of the great small communities in the nation. So we are very proud to be part of that.
Now I'm assuming in addition to a variety of properties, you have a variety of pricing.
We do. And we've got a lot of great specials going on right now. With any of the rates you see on our website, you get a $100 discount per month on rent if you do a 12-month lease and auto pay from a checking, which that has gone over great. The prices range anywhere starting at $549 a month, and it goes on up depending on what your needs are. And then we have a deposit special, only a $299 deposit special with approved credit, and if you're looking to move right away, we can take care of that as well.
Now, are any of your available leasings, are any of them furnished?
We can do that. Usually those are just something that corporate level people are doing when they're coming to town for a short amount of time, and just with some advance notice, we can do that as well.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, people that want to contact you, you have a few ways that they can get in touch, so share that information.
We have several avenues. They can call, of course. Our number is easy to remember, 270-268-RENT, which is 7368. They can text, they can email us at etownapartments.com, etownapartments@AOL. But the best way to stay in touch with us, when you can also see what we have to offer, is through our Facebook, Etown Apartments on Facebook. That has just been a great resource for us.
Well, you've been a long-time sponsor for our high school sports. We could not do what we do without that sponsorship, so we really appreciate that. Why do you feel it's important to stay connected with the high school community?
Well, that's the next generation, and that's our opportunity to thank the community as well for giving us such an opportunity to grow as a family business. But then that next generation, they're coming up, and we have those first-time renters coming up, going to ECTC. We have 1-bedrooms right across the street from there, and we just, of course, we are sports enthusiasts as a family, so we love being part of it.
Well, it definitely supports what we do, and also our students that work those special events. Again, for individuals that are interested in etownapartments.com, again, just mention some of those ways that they can get in touch with you.
They can always call. We answer the phone 7 days a week, 270-268-RENT.
And that's important that someone actually answers the phone.
Someone does. But if it rings in the middle of the night, we usually let it go to voicemail unless we happen to be getting up. But we have the phone. You can text. That's also a great resource because we can also send you pictures back by text. Email etownapartments@AOL or on Facebook, and folks private messages on there if they're looking for something a couple months down the road so that we can keep them in mind when something comes available.
It's really important that your family and this company is so seated, so well placed in the community, and you've always been really strong community partners. Again, I think that gives that personal touch to anyone that's looking for an apartment or a townhouse or a condo, whatever is available to them. So I know that that's a really strong commitment for your organization.
It helps a lot. I have soldiers that will Skype me from overseas. They found they're coming back to Fort Knox. My mother was property manager before me. Folks who rent it from her and they come back to the area, they remember that number. They'll call and connect with us right away. They know the properties we offer, so that is a bonus for us. They will just go ahead and reserve their unit in advance.
Well, I can't tell you how important it is that you're able to sponsor HCEC-TV's live sports coverage along with Brandenburg Telecom and many of our other sports sponsors, so we're really thrilled. And I'm sure I'll see you out at some of those games in March too.
I'm sure.
We're going to have an exciting season with HCEC-TV's live sports. And I want to thank again Karen Collard, who's the property manager at etownapartments.com. Don't forget to go to their Facebook page. You can also text, and again, that phone number is
270-268-RENT.
Great. Thank you again for joining us today.
Thank
Karen.
Back to live action here at Meade County High School. Drew, Meade County's band is entertaining.
They are a very interesting halftime show with the red light structures and all kinds of assorted colored flags and very nice presentation.
I've come to always, over the last few years, I've had an opportunity to see them perform quite a bit, and the people in band. Probably, not even probably, put more time in than the athletes do, because the athletes move on to another season, or once their season's done, they're done. But the band kids are doing this all year long, and a lot of what they do is pretty athletic. I mean, you're moving around, you're lugging around big instruments, and making nice music at the same time. And they had all that. There's cool props. They had a narration in the whole thing. I got lost. I forgot we were watching a football game for a second.
Yeah, I did. I tell you what, though, like I said, and like you said, they do put in a lot of work. This is not a situation where you're going to see, they do something new every year. Unless you have a coaching change in football, you're not going to be running a new offense every year.
Last week, Meade County came out on top in a nail-biter against Franklin Simpson. They snuck past them for 24-21. Meade County blew out their opponent the week prior. Here we are back to some closer football. We know that John Hardin has the opportunity to make explosive plays. We saw today it wasn't Stephen Livers, it was Anthony Witherspoon that came out and made 2 of them that changed how this game feels. Now, Meade County on their opening possession scored a touchdown, missed the extra point. Looks like they're going to get up 2 scores, but John Hardin's defense come out, make a great stop, force a fumble, and stay in this football game. Meade County would take a lead with a second quarter touchdown to go up 13-0, and John Hardin comes back, and just before the half, it was Witherspoon with a 19-yard run and a successful point after touchdown. That's where we're at. We're at 13-7. The Bulldogs get the ball to start the half, and Drew, they could change how this game feels. It looked like Meade County was going to run away with it early.
Yeah, it did. You talk about the Meade County's rushing offense was just excellent in the first half, but now John Hardin's got a little momentum behind him. John Hardin gets the ball to start the second half, and that's the kind of thing you want to have if you're coming out getting the ball to start the second half. You either want to have a lead or you want to have the momentum behind you, which the Bulldogs certainly have right now.
Zane Powers only thrown the football a couple of times. That's because the Green Wave of Meade County, they run the football, and they do it well. We came in here and talking about Zach Babb and his 15-yard per carry average. Well, some pick up some pretty good carries, but the bulk of the yardage tonight has been picked up by Deshaun Welsh. He's the fullback, a junior, a little bit bigger running back of the 5'10", 220 on the stat sheet. Running much bigger. He's putting his head down and just earning yards.
He is, and it's the tough yards up the middle. Zach Babb's the kind of guy who wants to get out in space, around the right side or around the left side. He wants to get out in space, build up a lot of speed. He gets the speed behind him. He's hard to bring down. Welch, on the other hand, is just hard to bring down. He's running right up the middle, bulldozing over guys, breaking tackles. Neither one of them is a guy you're going to bring down with an arm tackle, but definitely not Welch. You're talking about a guy who's 5'10", 220, and he's going to hit you like a wrecking ball as he comes through that line. And he's found a lot of open space, and when you get a little bit of open space, get that momentum behind you, get that inertia behind you, you're going to run over guys in the secondary.
Shortly before the end of the first half, we saw defensive player number 9, Kenneth Satcher, for John Hardin, walk off gingerly. I'll be excited to see him back on the field as an indication that he is okay. I have not got any word whatsoever if he's playing or not. Can't find him on the sideline just yet. But if you see 9 on the field, that's good for the John Hardin Bulldog faithful, because he's one of the guys out there that makes plays even when they aren't on the stat sheet. His presence is known.
It is. He's one of those guys that's He's going to take the attention of the offensive line just a little bit, and sometimes when you're blocking a guy like that, you're going to let through another guy.
We called out John Hardin's defense. We started throwing out some stats saying they've given up 28 points and all these yards, and against Central, they gave up a bunch of yards, they gave up a bunch of big plays. But another guy for John Hardin that stepped up and played some defensive football was Dominic Hope. Dominic Hope was out there and making things happen. He's a junior and has a bright future out here. He's a guy that we haven't called his name a whole lot defensively, but tonight, throughout the season, but tonight he seems to be in and around most of the plays. For Meade County, well, they've done a pretty good job defensively, with the exception of the last John Hardin drive. John Hardin, you never know who's taking the snaps for them. We've seen 4 different guys take snaps as quarterback, and tonight, I was ready for Witherspoon to play quarterback, and I was denied that. Caleb Fitzgerald came out, threw the rock well a couple times, a little bit of bad luck, maybe skipped a couple to some open receivers. Quarterback change was made. Witherspoon comes in. I think between those two, Witherspoon is the stronger runner. And that might be one reason it gave him an element, exactly how they drew it up. Coach calls timeout on that last drive, Drew, and whatever he said to him worked, because John Hardin started rattling off big runs.
They did. They just gashed down the field, took off big chunks of yardage, and eventually found their way to the end zone.
Running quarterbacks in the NFL, whether it be Cam Newton, even Colin Kaepernick, Russell Wilson, they thrive off the success of their run games. We've seen Russell Wilson have success when players like Marshawn Lynch can get going running-wise. Teams start keying on him, and you forget that you have a quarterback that can just take off and gobble up 30 yards on a really simple run around the end. And that's what we saw with Witherspoon. I'm curious to see if we see more of that in this upcoming half. Bulldogs, they've got the football. Bouncing short kick is fielded by number 22, Matthew Valletta. Valletta runs probably more laterally than forward, Drew. I'm not sure if you got much on the return, and there's a flag at the end of the play. Usually that indicates a little bit of chippiness or something happening a little bit after the whistle.
Yeah, I believe that was number 85, Luton Yates, on the far sideline. I think he got him when he was already out of bounds. And that's gonna be a penalty every time. That was either him or 83, Matt Wood.
I've been critical throughout the season of this John Hardin Bulldog team. They seem to have been the team early in this season and even some of last season that made some of these kind of penalties. But right now, the balance is coming back the other way. They are the recipient of somebody else's mental mistake. And when you're a team that's trying to change the scoreboard to your favor, you love it. You love to start your series here. Let's see how they come out. They have the opportunity to run Witherspoon some more, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Witherspoon is going to be under the center. Livers will be the running back to the left, number 3, and Reinheimer, he's the tough fullback directly behind the quarterback. Here's a pistol, goes off Witherspoon's hands. Livers picks it up. He's going to try to make something of it. He's already looking at about a 20-yard loss. And there you go. Stephen Livers just gets all the way back to the original line of scrimmage. That's not how you drew it up.
That is not. No, that could have been a disastrous play for the John Hardin Bulldogs, but we seem to be saying that a lot tonight. That could have been disaster for the Bulldogs.
The punt that wasn't blocked, the snap through the quarterback's hands that didn't happen.
The fumbled lateral.
That's going to go down as a no-yard run, but that was one of the more exciting plays we've seen today. Stephen Livers is fun to watch play football. Here we go. Reinheimer is not going to get the rock. Witherspoon pulls it back, fumbles on successive plays, and here's Meade County. And, that's not going to get you starting quarterback status.
That is not. And, we were just talking about John Hardin's luck. Well, the luck finally ran out. That fumble went right to a Green Wave player. I mean, just no John Hardin guys around it. It was all Meade County around that one.
Just a problem with the snap and the exchange. And, the center is the guy that... The center is the guy that touches the football on every play. And he's got to connect with his quarterback there. And I'm not sure what happened, but it didn't happen correctly 2 plays in a row. Here we go. This is Welsh. Welsh picks up the prerequisite 3 2/3 yards and keeps the chains moving forward. That's about it. A little bit more than 3 yards. Good blocking up front. I keep saying that number 52 is making blocks out there, and that's Kobe Nicolau. Look at Kobe Nicolau out there. Well, focusing on him in this play, if you're watching on the TV, he will be your left tackle. He's just inside the tight end on the left side of that line. Let's see if he makes a play here. Kobe clowning the linebacker, makes an amazing block, stays engaged with his blocker, and takes him blindside style all the way out while the play goes to the other side of the field. Now, the camera followed the action, folks, but if I was ever to call out a lineman on a play, Kobe Nicolau just took number 22 from John Hardin, not to single him out. That's Matthew Valletta, and rode him all the way out to the sideline, and his teammates are loving it.
And unfortunately for Meade County, Zach Babb, off the right side, he had a ton of yards, got hit, and that ball shot straight up in the air. And just like that, the Bulldogs have the ball back.
Well, I'm talking about big blocks. It's a turnover. How about that? Still, Meade County pumped. They're still pumped about that block. I don't even think half the team, including me, saw what was going on the other side of the field. Here's a toss and a completion, a couple of spin moves. He's hitting the circle button and picking up big yards, and guess what? He's got separation. I mentioned earlier that he's quick. He's very quick, and John Hardin, just like that, Drew, are tied in this football game. How about Darian Davis? 5'6.5", 154, but he put every bit of poundage forward on that. I'm stopped. What are we watching? What's going on here?
I tell you what, he had just about every member of that Green Wave defense on skates. Just spin.
1, 2, 3 spins.
And next thing you know, he's out in open field and gone.
That was good stuff. You see how quickly high school football can change? I'm talking about a block on the left side of the field. We got a turnover on the right side of the field, and it took John Hardin one play, and they tied up the football game. There's a flag here. I think it might be an offsides call against Green Wave. No, it's going to be a procedure call. Somebody bobbed their head or moved a little bit. That's going to make this kick a little tougher. Sometimes when that kick gets a little too far, you think about going for 2.
I don't think the Bulldogs are looking to go for 2 on this one. I think they're just going to
They
attempt
got a
the
kicker
kick.
that can kick. He kicked it far enough, not quite up to Death Valley Hill up there. That's ridiculousness, but he can boot it. He had some distance on that one. So let's see. Okay, so the ball will be spotted on the 15. It's the equivalent of a 32-yard field goal, well within his range. This one counts for 1 if it's good. Snaps there. It's put down. See what I'm talking about? He had 18 more yards if he wanted them, but that's all he needed to do was get it through the uprights. 14-13 your score. John Hardin leads. Drew, that was a wild exchange there.
That was, when I saw Zach Babb run off the right side, I thought for sure he was heading to the house. You see, he gets to about the 20-yard line, and then that ball just shot straight up in the air. Nothing but Bulldogs around it, and they immediately strike on the next play.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to that play and how excited I was about a blocker. We often talk about the guys that carry the ball, throw the football. So I wanted to make a point today and point out some of these guys that don't get in the stat sheet because they're blocking for guys that run for 200-something yards. So, we focused on Kobe Nicolau on that play. And from start to finish on that play, he engaged his blocker all over the field and then tossed him into his own sideline. And that's, that's about as good a block play on the far side of a play as you're going to get. When Meade County restores their possession and starts, watch the left tackle of this football team. Watch him find blocks and make them. And it's as a football fan and a guy that enjoys good fundamentals, that's just fun to watch. I will dwell on that all day if I have to because we don't talk enough about the guys that are blocking. So here we go. The kick is away. It's fielded by, is that Zach Babb?
That is Zach Babb.
He's exciting, and he gets a good return. He doubles back the other way. A couple of arm tackles. Don't bring him down. He gets some more yards, and the Green Wave are going to start at their 38. Bulldogs leading in this one.
Now that's one way to start making up for a fumble.
Yeah, make a big play after that, and people forget quickly. He's made a lot of big plays, so I think his teammates are gonna forgive him for coughing up the rock. I wouldn't count out Meade County putting more points on the board in this football game either. Tonight's broadcast brought to you in part by Physical Therapy Associates. More personal attention for more effective results. You'll find locations in Elizabethtown, Hodgenville, Radcliffe, Brandenburg, and Bardstown, along with Louisville, online at physicaltherapyky.com. Here we go. Gives to Welsh. Welsh finds a whole bunch of Bulldogs. They're pumped. They're winning, and they're playing with some passion right now. Drew, if I was going to knock him, I would say in previous games we saw a lot of hands on the hips, a lot of disappointed body language. But right now I'm seeing a squad that's slapping each other in the helmets and the pads, and they're making it happen. By the way, number 9, he's out there.
Yeah, he is back out there after he got up gingerly earlier on a touchdown play. Right now, John Hardin, they don't look tired. They don't look defeated. They look fired up.
Swarming to the football. Meade County's going to have to do something a little different than just that simple stuff to Welsh inside. Satcher, number 9, I talked about him earlier. Watch him on this play. Powers thinking to throw the football, zips it outside to number 2, who picks that one up in a nice crossing route. I like the play. Bulldogs sold out on the run. That's Brock Wilson. He's listed as a fullback. Doesn't really have the fullback size. He's been lined up outside quite a bit. We've seen Welsh take most of the fullback snaps.
I'll tell you what, a great job on that catch because I believe that somebody got a hand on it at the line, but it still came out just in the right spot for him to catch that ball. Picked up a good chunk of yardage as well.
When people touch the football, it changes the whole trajectory of everything, and your body wants to react to something that's being thrown your way, and when it changes that just a little bit, it messes up the whole thing. Here's Zach Babb with another big play. Leaps over somebody and picks up some additional yards. He's fun.
He is. He's very fun. And, you talk about
he's
somebody.
Angry.
Oh, yeah. There was a bit of a late hit on that play that wasn't called, and I believe that's what he's mad about. And now we're going to get a flag.
Well, if that flag is on John Hardin, and take away what I said earlier about playing disciplined football, it's just one, but these are the kind of things that change ball games. You just took the lead. You just gave up a big play, and if you're going to march the home team downfield and give them free yards without them having to even earn it against you, then what's up with that? Somebody said something that wasn't within the code of conduct of football to get that call.
Yeah, like I said, there was a bit of a late hit. It was one of those that could have gotten away with not being called, which they didn't call it. But then it was the jawing back and forth. It was the pushing and shoving after the play that got that penalty.
15 yards after a pickup of 13 essentially makes it a 28-yard play. Green Wave on the move. They trail by 1, and they're looking to change that here. Powers got Welsh behind him. Babb in motion. Gives it to Welsh, and nobody followed Welsh up the middle. Everybody sold up on Babb, but I think this one's coming back. When Babb goes in motion like that, Drew, nobody else can be moving. And if somebody else is on the snap, that's going to be an illegal procedure play, illegal motion. Illegal shift.
Yeah, illegal shift on the offense. It's going to bring back what was a great play. A great play for Welch. Unfortunately, that's another drive killer. You got to be careful with those.
Also, if you're Babb, this isn't the Canadian Football League. If you go in motion, it's got to be lateral to the line of scrimmage, parallel line of scrimmage, or backwards. You cannot all of a sudden take your motion and start running toward the line of scrimmage. And I believe that might be where the call is in that one. I believe that's going to be a flag on Babb. 1st and 15, Meade County goes backwards. They're going to go to Babb again, right off the right tackle. He's quick, he's speedy, picks up at least 5 yards, give him 6, runs into some Bulldogs there. It's going to set up a 2nd down and 9. I'm just really, really impressed at the discipline of the blocking of this Meade County football team, and that's testimony to the coaching staff and even I'm going to go all the way down to the youth program they have out here. They started establishing that early. So, hey, we don't have a 285-pound tackle, so what we're going to have to do is have good fundamentals. And you don't just do that overnight. You just don't throw a big guy on the offensive line and run the football like they do.
Right. It takes a lot of discipline, a lot of blocking, and I tell you, this Meade County offensive line is just excelling at it tonight.
Double fake by Powers. He's going to throw the rock. He's in trouble. He should get rid of it. He does. And guess what? A late hit on John Hardin. Great defensive play by John Hardin's going to be negated. It's going to turn out to be a football. It's going to be a late hit on the quarterback. Will Kaysen put a good rush on Powers, made him throw away. And you hate to see that if you're the defensive coordinator of John Hardin right now. You're probably, guess what? Guess what? It's not on him. I'm going to have to take it back and apologize to Will Kaysen's group because John Hardin's people were all angry over there and stuff. And the reason they were angry is they're going to be calling the quarterback Powers for intentional grounding. Not sure that I agree with the football call there, Drew. And the rules aren't quite the same as in the NFL, but he got out of the original tackle box. He threw that ball toward the sidelines and it went forward. If I saw anything, I saw him get popped after he threw the football.
Yeah, and I think what they're going to get him for is that it did not reach the original line of scrimmage again. It might be a little bit different in here, but it looked like he was outside of the original tackle box. So
well, not a discipline penalty for John Hardin. This sets Meade County back, makes him have to throw. They do. Hooks up with his buddy, and that's a huge play to C.J. Highlander. Not sure if he got the first down or not, but on 3rd and 20, wow. Powers has shown us if he needs to be a quarterback in the conventional sense of the position, he can pick up some yards when he's got it. I like that.
And I tell you what, Highlander wasn't the only one open on that one. You had over in the flat, I think number 11, Zach Babb was open, but great play by Highlander, reversing field, keeping the feet moving, and gaining a lot of yards. Makes this a very manageable 4th and 3.
4th and 3, I'm not going to make any comments about what their kicker can do. I think they're liking what their running backs can do. Look for a play to Babb. He's in motion. The pitch is out right. Bulldogs seem to be all over it, and they are. They're going to get the football back. Bulldogs hold serve on their end of the football field. Get the ball back, Drew, and it looked like Meade County was going to take this lead back.
They had a lot of momentum behind them, and, when you get down into a 4th and 3 like that, I think John Hardin saw the run to Babb coming. That's one of the times that you really have to hit number 25.
Zach Babb, number 11, leading rusher on this football team, walked off with a strong limp on that play. And he's taking the helmet off. He's going to sit down, and the training staff going to be talking to him here. That That could really change things for this Meade County Green Wave football team. John Hardin going to keep Witherspoon in at quarterback. He's been making things happen offensively, and you certainly got to watch him. He's a threat to take off and run. So is Stephen Livers. Stephen Livers runs into a bunch of Green Wave defenders. They had that one scouted out nicely.
Yeah, they did. You know, John Hardin's got all 11 flying to the ball right now. Or, excuse me, Meade County's got all 11 flying to the ball right now. And that's the kind of thing you have to do against somebody like Stephen Livers. You can't let him out of your sight for a half second or he will be 50 yards down the field.
We've seen it. As soon as you dismiss this John Hardin team, time and time again, Livers makes a huge play that gets them back into the football game. Right now, they're in a position to add to this lead, and you got to be loving that if you're John Hardin's coach, the way this game started off for him. Tosses a backwards lateral out to Reinheimer in the flat. He's making something happen, but who is that? That's number 25 for the Green Wave. Grabbed onto a handful of jersey.
Believe that Meade County's just got the ball back.
And created a fumble.
That was
a turnover.
That was big number 25, Deshaun Welch.
That's Deshaun Welch making things happen on both sides of the football field, and he just decided that play was over.
It looks like John Hardin will keep possession, though.
Forward progress may have been blown dead. Okay, I believe that's the rule on the field, is that the end of the play was whistled dead. Seems fair, but heck of a play by Welch. And Reinheimer took that backwards lateral out in the flat, and instead of going forward, he kind of tried to make stuff happen to the other side of the field. And if you're a coach, that might be why you want to talk to your team here. Hey, come on, guys, a little bit better decision making on the field. All right.
Yeah, I think he just tried to make too much happen on that. Sometimes the play gets blown up, and you just got to get out of there, but he tried to make too much happen.
Still a heck of a play by Welch. Welch grabbed onto that jersey, and he wasn't giving it away like he was going to take that home as a souvenir. And Reinheimer's one of the stronger runners in the area, and Welch did not let that one hand go. And anybody that's played knows that grabbing onto a guy's jersey and holding on to it, even small players, kind of hard to bring down that way. You got to just be crazy strong, and that was a fun play to watch if you're a fan of defense.
Very fun play to watch. Like you said, you know, Welch comes through there unblocked, gets a hold of him, and does not let go. That's kind of what we've seen a little bit tonight. If you're going to get a guy, you can't let him go because he will get explosive. 3rd
and 17. John Hardin leading here, so I don't expect him to do anything too crazy. But that's where I always go wrong, is when I start trying to predict what they're going to do. Here's Livers, and fakes to give to Livers. Witherspoon's got all day to throw the football, but nobody's open. He goes to the other side of the field. Anybody home? Hey, I'm going to throw it downfield, and cannot connect. Wow.
Great defensive play. They covered every receiver, and sometimes when you scramble around back there, you can get somebody open for a half second, but it just wasn't long enough to get that pass completed. You
know, sometimes on 3rd and a long way, you're going to defensively only rush 2 players. And if they rush more than 2, if Meade County rushed more than 2, that's going to drop 9 guys into coverage. That's kind of why you saw Witherspoon have so much time back there. But that also means there's 9 guys covering 5 guys who could catch it, and that's exactly what you saw. Great coverage, a combination of zone and man, and that is why John Hardin's punting right now. Line drive goes right to the return man. That's number 8 for Meade County. I'll have his name for you in a second. Cole Miller's going to set up Meade County here at the 40 and give him another chance to get this lead back.
And I tell you what, that was a near block by the Meade County Special Teams unit. We got a John Hardin player that's coming up a little bit gingerly. That's number 21.
21, Dakota Reisner, a playmaker for this football team. Don't like to see anybody laying in that position. Hope he's okay soon. I got to apologize earlier to Will Kaysen, and family who are watching that. I thought he got flagged for a late hit on the quarterback. Turned out to be an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and it went the other way against Meade County. John Hardin gets the football back after forcing a turnover, and couldn't go anywhere offensively. That's where we're at here. 14-13. This was a 13-7 score at the half. Meade County trying to regain the lead on their home turf out here. Meade's been putting up some crazy offensive numbers, but they're running into some defense tonight. And if there was any flaw in John Hardin's game, Drew, we didn't think we'd see them playing strong defense tonight.
No, we didn't, especially not against the run. You know, you expected if anything was going to give up, it would be John Hardin's run defense. However, we're still in the 3rd quarter.
Lineman spotlight for John Hardin, look up front, big 56 for them. He's making stuff happen up there. But on this play, they go away from him. Tackle's made by Satcher on the far side of the field, but
that was Nate Holly on the run. They went away from
Nate Holly.
From Babb.
Babb is injured.
Babb is on the field, though.
Okay. But he's... coaches, you always ask you, are you hurt or are you injured? If you're injured, you can't play. If you're hurt, we might just run the football to other people and have people respect you on the field. So if you're hurt, sometimes you got a game plan around that, and you don't have that person be the feature person. Maybe you line them out wide like they are right now and feature Mr. Welch. Doesn't look too slowed here, but he goes in motion. Everyone follows him. Welch barrels forward, and he's hard to bring down, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, just how they drew it up, and that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, just dragging linemen, running them over all the way down. And now here you have Meade County just outside the red zone right now. Actually, I believe they're going to be in the red zone from that run. And, with Babb out there, he looks like he's up to speed. But if he's not feeling it, you've got somebody like Welch who can take the pressure off. You've got somebody like Nate Holly who can take just an explosive play.
If you're just healthy enough to be out there on the field, they still got to respect you. And guess what? They got to respect you when this happens. Babb takes it up the middle and says, I'm not hurt. Just give me the football. I'll take a hot bath and a hot shower at the end of the game and read my stats. That's moving the chains forward. And he came into this football game with 9 rushing touchdowns, an average over 15 yards a carry, and a couple of monster performances. We saw one like 286 yards 2 weeks ago.
Yep, that was against Shelby County.
And, he makes things happen for this football team, but they got 3-4 guys that can run the rock. Powers doesn't quite run like Witherspoon does, but we've seen him put his head down and take a quarterback sneak up the middle. Might see him try to call his own number here if they keep leaving his center uncovered. Here's Welch. He's already scored once today. Add another one to the stat sheet. And just like that, the Green Wave are winning.
He practically walked into the end zone with very little contact on him. Tell you what, that's what you want to see out of your big fullback. And I got to wonder, are they going to go for 2 here to try to make it a 7-point lead?
This has nothing to do with the kicking game. This is all about mathematics. They're up by 5 right now, and you nailed it. You want to keep that 7-point gap, forcing the other team to have to convert their extra point later in the football game. So here we go. And plus, they've had pretty good success picking up 2 yards. It'll be interesting to see what they do here. Sometimes, like I said, the fundamental choice is to keep it simple. But that John Hardin defensive front, there's some big guys there. They're going to say no. Here's the pitch. It's simple. It's Welch. And he walks in untouched. Great line play up front. If anyone is going to get a game ball today, it's not the guys who are picking up big rushing yards. It's the guys that are making that happen. The 5 guys for Meade County's front line. I don't know if I've seen a better offensive line unit play in the high school games that we've covered this season. A tip of the cap to the coaches for what they've done with that group of big guys there. And I even pointed out they aren't the biggest group of big guys around. It's all about running the plays like you're supposed to.
We don't average 318 yards per game during a winning streak, 277 average for the season. We're getting a 582-yard rushing game without excellent offensive line play, and that is exactly what we're seeing out of this Meade County team. Meade County kind of prides itself on being a great rushing team, and that's exactly what we're seeing tonight.
Zach Babb can't be too hurt. He's out there in kick coverage. So he's on the far left. He's out of the television screen right now, but far left, Babb is he's one of the defensive backs on this team too, so I guess he's feeling a little better. Here's a bouncy bounce of a kickoff. Interesting rolls, ends up to Livers. That's not what they wanted to do with it, and this is what happens when you end up with Stephen Livers in the football. An interesting roll on that kick.
And interesting that Livers could have let it bounce out of bounds and get the the standard starting position, but he didn't. He reached out there as if he was trying to catch a pass, brought it in, was able to bring it up the field for a nice game. That's no fun, though, right? When you're an explosive player, you want the rock. You don't want to take a penalty and have it start someplace. About the same result. But Lewis Bravo, the kicker for Meade County, when you kick those short balls, Drew, you want to take advantage of the not exactly flat contours of grass and hope you get a bad bounce. that just took a funny hop and went up high over everybody.
Here's Witherspoon. He's the quarterback. He's going to give it to Livers. Livers explodes off the right side, cuts back left, and he's shaking tackles and has a Bulldog first down. We haven't seen we'll call it the home run ball, because not yet, and you just wait and wonder when it's going to happen. Some of these area players in the Elizabethtown and the Hardin County schools, like Joseph Becker in Elizabethtown, Stephen Livers is one of them, that anytime they have the football in their hands, they can score. It doesn't matter if 4 or 5 guys are trying to bring them down or whatever. They're just fun like that to watch. 1st and 10, ball on the 44. Man in motion. It's Witherspoon. He's going to call his own number, but a couple defensive adjustments have been made by the Green Wave, and they're ready for that.
Yeah, they were very ready for that. You know, he kept just trying to run back and forth, trying to find that opening, but there was no opening there. It was all Green Wave in front of him.
One of the reasons you don't see more read option at the professional level is how good and disciplined linebackers are. Think about it. If you had to play in a division with, say, James Harrison, would you want to run your quarterback at him and take the risk of having a one-on-one situation with a guy? I mentioned Russell Wilson earlier. And Russell Wilson colliding with a James Harrison, I don't care how old he is. It just doesn't happen, and you don't want it to happen. Now, you see big plays with the read option, but in the NFL game, you can't rely on it and just run it over and over and over again. Here's a deep ball from Witherspoon, and an opportunity for the Bulldogs falls away. I'm going to give a great defensive nod there to C.J. Highlander. He had his man in sights, but I think Darian Davis had an opportunity to make a big play there, but I'm sure he'd love to have caught that football.
Yeah, and I think that one was just a hair underthrown. It floated just a little bit as it was coming in.
He had to wait for it. I mentioned earlier he's quick. I've seen him get separation, and Highlander did just enough to disrupt that play. I think if Davis is wide open, he catches that football. So he was covered. Witherspoon said, "Hey, let's throw it again." He's got all kinds of time. Meade County has 8 players drop back into coverage, and Witherspoon can't find an open receiver. He's going to be sacked by 3 of the guys who rushed him. That is testimony to good coverage, and I'm going to call out a couple of guys. If you're a John Hardin receiver, you got to know that if 6-7 seconds have gone in that play, you got to improvise and get yourself open for your quarterback to throw it to you. And I saw a few guys quit on the routes.
Yeah, that's not something you want to see out of your players. You know, if you haven't gotten the ball out your way, if you notice that he hasn't thrown it, you've got to come back towards the line of scrimmage and try to get something out of that.
Bulldogs have brought the excitement back to the punting game with a couple of interesting snaps. This one's fine. There's a bit of a rush away. A good high kick, not very far. It's going to be fielded and fumbled by Meade County. The ball is loose and smartly covered by number 2 of Meade County, possibly. That's a lot better than the play would have resulted if there was a return on that play. But a good hustle play there by Brock Wilson. Let's see how that affects the football game later. If Meade County can come away with points on this drive, Brock Wilson might be a name we're calling a little bit later.
Yes, definitely. And I tell you what, that was almost another disaster in this game. And, you know, when you call for a fair catch, all you have to do is bring it in. And he tried, it bounced off of him, and then it started taking weird bounces. Very lucky for Meade County to be able to get back to that ball.
Sometimes those lights can get all up in your eyes and stuff. It happens. And guys running at you, wanting to tackle you, that's going to be a false start. They're all called a legal procedure, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I believe everybody but the center may have moved on that one.
Yeah. It's one of those where he thought it was on 2, but it was on 1, and or something of that nature. That's usually the case if everybody goes but the guy snapping the football. Somebody reminds you in the huddle, too. It's usually the quarterback. Says, "Know the count, dude," or something like that.
Yeah, probably a little discussion going on there, but, you know, it's early enough in the drive. It can't kill the drive. It can kill the drive, but it probably won't with how good this Meade County team's been at rushing.
Powers is Babb in motion, but instead just goes to Welsh, and Welsh has been huge today. That's a 12-yard gain on 1st and 15, and that's going to end this third quarter of play. We're almost done, Drew. This has been blistering away at a good pace, and we've got a good football game here. 21-14, Meade County leads this one. They've got an opportunity to get up 2 scores in the final frame. We'll see how it plays out. Take a quick break, and I'll be back with a sponsor read. Tonight's broadcast is an HCEC-TV student production, a division of the Hardin County School System. Special thanks to our live sports coverage sponsors, Brandenburg Telecom, Physical Therapy Associates, eTownApartments.com, Bluegrass Cellular, eTown Exterminating, and West Point Bank. Well, Dale's your director tonight. CJ is also the director of what's going on, the associate director. He's got a list of students working with them, and hopefully before this football game is over, somebody's going to bring me up a list, and we'll give a shout out to each one of those students who are working on the production, including Dale and CJ, who bring us pretty much everything. They take pretty good care of us. They keep us on the air. They make sure people can hear us. We're all set up. Shout out to the Meade County folks here that, boy, we had rosters, Drew. We had information, and I love this press box here. This is one of my favorites in the area.
It is, I like how it is. We're divided off. We've got our own personal room here. I will say I love the windows in here. They're leaned forward, which gives you a great view of the field no matter how you're sitting in here.
This whole the whole football experience out here in Brandenburg is great. Now the fans, the athletic director out here, the coaches, everybody who's put this together. I mean, this is a good night out. This is a fun Friday night thing to do. Here we go. We're back in live action. It's Powers. I said something about him running earlier, and guess what? He's got the rock. No, that's Babb.
That is Babb, and he is off to the races, gets all the way down to the 15-yard line.
I lost what happened there, and I really thought that Powers had given the rock to himself on that one. Got lost in the middle of the play. But next thing you know, you got number 11, Babb, running off the right end with another big gain. And here come the Green Wave. They got an opportunity to get up a couple of scores here.
Yeah, and this is the kind of drive that you can put a game away with. A big back-breaking play like that. Next thing you know, if they get into the end zone, you've got a 14-point lead, and the clock is not in John Hardin's favor.
11:49 to play. Most of the yards rushing today has been Welsh, but that's because of the respect this John Hardin team has been given to Zach Babb. You watch when Zach Babb goes in motion that 1, 2, or 3 guys' helmets are watching where he's going. And that's just testimony to the statistics he's put up in games prior to this. And that's making it real easy for Welsh to pick up yards. It's going to be real easy for him to pick up yards just right up the gut. And we've seen that happen. I'm still waiting for the quarterback to call his own name and take this one into the end zone himself. Got those crew names using modern technology like cell phones. Amazing how that works. Gabe Stalcup's on graphics tonight. The videographers are Jaslyn Barnes and Alex Greer. Again, thanks to Dale and CJ. They're with us week after week with different crews, and they make it happen. So it's a wonderful experience. People get to learn how to put an actual broadcast out there, and it's a lot of fun setting this stuff up. Here's Welsh, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling forward.
He had a little bit of a leap on that play.
I think it's going to be a flag on Meade County's offense. There's a couple guys that seem to have a handful of jersey. You can choose one of them. I've been giving shouts out to that Meade County offensive line, and, they got caught that time.
Yeah, you know what they say, there's holding on to every play. Well, that time it got caught. Little habeas corpus, but I tell you, I still have to say this Meade County offensive line is performing better, probably better than any offensive line we've seen this season.
I'm really... we choose the holding penalty to bring that up, but otherwise it's been a showcase of fundamental football tonight. One of the guys up front, check out number 60. 60 is Sean DeRosset. He is a 6 foot, 238-pound senior, playing big out there.
There goes Powers calling his own number right up the middle.
Got to do that once in a while. What that does, Drew, is if you like to run that play to Bab off the tackles, teams like to maybe cheat outside. Cheat outside the tackle, cheat outside the tight end, and they leave that gap up the middle. And your coach tells you that if you see it, you make that call at the line and you just take 2-3 yards. That gets those interior linemen and even the defensive ends to pinch just a little bit more, and that sets up your outside run. You can't let guys camp outside like that without holding them accountable. And a guy that's slightly mobile can burn them over and over again. Here's Powers. He's thinking to throw this time. He's got Highlander on a slant route, and guess what? Highlander's got a touchdown. I liked everything about that football play there, and I loved how it was set up, Drew. The quarterback sneak on the play prior, that's going to have everybody think and run on the play that backs it up. Highlander didn't do anything fancy there. He just did a straight-up slant route. He found an open part of the football field there, and his quarterback connected with him. We've seen Powers do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, not even really a drop back on that. Just stood up, looked to the left. There's this guy on the slant, hits him, and then let the wide receiver do all the hard work.
Nothing but a timing play. 1, 2, 3-step drop, and connect with your receiver. Kick is up and good. 28-14 is your score right now. The home team, Meade County, putting up some points. I'm thinking they're not done also. They get a little momentum behind them, and who knows what they can do. They've been scoring 40-something in the last couple of victories that they had, and they still have plenty of time to score a couple more. If you're John Hardin, well, you got to start thinking about some big plays and what you can do there. And we know that they've got big play players. Witherspoon's made a couple of big plays already, and Stephen Livers has yet to make one. That seems to not happen. He had a big play last week. Like I said, that changed a little bit of the dynamic of that first half. They weren't going anywhere until Livers busted off a 50-yarder. He can catch the football, too. So watch number 3 on there in white. Meade County, it's kind of a group effort today. They've forced some fumbles. They've played decent football. And their linemen up front, they're giving up a little bit of size, too. So maybe the undersung heroes of today's game is the defense of Meade County, who's only giving up 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, they've basically kept Stephen Livers in check this entire game, which is the key if you're trying to beat this John Hardin team. Looks like another tough night for John Hardin on the offensive side of the ball.
Lewis Bravo to kick. Not sure what he's got going on here. The tilt suggests he's going to boot this one. I could be wrong. Guess what? It's a line drive, and it skips and bounces right off Reinheimer's hands and out of bounds. That's how you like it to happen. No penalty on a play that touches a player in the field of play. And Reinheimer just didn't field that cleanly or with any kind of urgency. And it's going to be essentially a good defensive play by Meade County.
Yeah, very good. Because, like I said, you got to keep the ball out of Stephen Livers' hands, and you can't let him have some space to get a little bit of speed. He's got a lot of acceleration, a lot of speed. You can't give him that room. So just get it away from him.
You said that sometimes cliche phrase, but oh so accurate. Time is not in the Bulldogs' favor right now. They really want to come away with points here because if you allow Meade County to get up 3 scores, it's just going to be a tough challenge. Here we go, Witherspoon. That guy's going in 2 different directions. His coaching staff not loving it. They're at the far end of this box, Drew, and I heard some shouting going on down there.
Yeah, I did too. And something else that, if you look, John Hardin's only got 1 timeout left for the rest of this game. So they cannot have mistakes like this. They've got to march down the field and score because all Meade County is going to do is run it and kill the clock.
Running plays help you clockwise. Incomplete passes stop your efforts when you're trying to run the clock out in the 4th quarter, and it plays right into the game plan of Meade County comparatively. John Hardin nobody likes to be in a position where you have to gobble up yards quickly, and I'm curious to see how they plan to do that. 1st and 15. They're going to give the ball here on the reverse outside. I'm not sure who that is. It's number 4. And Josh Garrett with the run. Not Livers, but Josh Garrett.
Everybody flowing to the ball on the Meade County side of the field, and as you can see, no gain on that play. Not the kind of thing that John Hardin wants to see. You don't want to force him into a passing play if you're John Hardin's coaches, but it might be what Meade County forces him into doing.
I've been shouting out his offensive line game today, but take a look at 52 linebacker Kobe Nicolau on this play, and let's see if he makes a play defensively for the Green Wave. He's He's been knocking people down off the ball all game long. This one goes the other way. Meade County gets faked out. It's Witherspoon. I'm not sure anybody's going to catch him. Taking a great angle on the play is Meade County's number 8, Cole Miller. Cole Miller tries, and he can't get him. Witherspoon to the house, and that is the big play that, well, we know John Hardin can do. Witherspoon with a couple of them now.
Yeah, and a great job breaking out of tackles. They had him dead to rights behind the line of scrimmage, but somebody got him around the ankles, and he was able to break free and take it to the house.
Everybody sold out on the running back on that play, and even I featured Nicolau on the play, and he was one of them. He went right, and nobody saw that read option going the other way. In a sprinting match, I think only Livers would have been able to catch Witherspoon. You'd have to ask those two guys on any given day which one's faster between the two of them, and I think each of them would claim their own number. Kick is up and good. True, just like that. What? It's a one-score game.
Yeah, just like that. We talked about that John Hardin needed that explosive play. You expect that explosive play to come from Stephen Livers, but Anthony Witherspoon has shown off his own explosiveness tonight, scoring 2 touchdowns on the ground.
In a couple of years I've called these games, I've seen Anthony Witherspoon intercept passes, return punts, run the football, throw the football, and catch the football. I think we got to start including him in that list, that short list of really exciting football players in the area. He's definitely one of those guys. What an asset to have on your football team when you have a guy that can play multiple positions on offense and has the leadership and the experience to have played multiple positions. And if your coach says, I need you to be a running back today, or I need you to be our starting quarterback today, you say, yes, sir, and you do it, and you do it well all over the place. What an asset that is to have on your football team. Yeah,
that is definitely something that you want. It's a versatile weapon that can just do it all, and that's exactly what Witherspoon's done.
There's a tilt on the kick. It's a line drive. Skips, makes its way all the way back to the return man. That's Highlander. Highlander had a hard time picking the football up. He's not going to pick up a big return. Meade County's series will start at the 22. We're going to look to tick some of this time off. They'd love to pick up points here on a methodical drive. That's about as ideal as possible. But, a coach told me a long time ago that the best defense is offense. Just keep scoring.
Yeah, that's
when you're winning. You really don't care if you take a whole lot of time off or whatever. If you can put another score up, you'll take that.
Yeah. So look at this. They're splitting out. Number 11, Zach Babby's split out to the left side.
Inside run to Welch. Welch has picked up a big gain or 2 already today. Well over 120 yards. Unofficially, I got him about 130 yards on the ground, and he's benefiting from the Bulldogs selling out on the man in motion, but he's earning the yards. He's hitting the hole hard, and he's running. He's been breaking tackles. Earlier in the game, these runs weren't as wide open for him. He bashed through the line, but he is benefiting from some other guys being a decoy, but this time does not hang on to the football, Drew, and just like that, John Hardin has an opportunity to tie this football game.
And that is about the second time we've seen him fumble in this game. And that is not what you want to see if you're the Green Wave. You're trying to keep the momentum on your side, trying to keep John Hardin's offense off the field. But now, John Hardin has a chance to tie this game up.
Earlier in this football game, Welsh was part of a fumble on an exchange between him and his quarterback. And that it looked like Meade County was on their way to another score. They were in the red zone. They could have got up early with a 2-score lead. They eventually had a 2-score lead, but John Hardin was able to come away with the football that time as well. And right now it's been the Anthony Witherspoon show. So Witherspoon gives it to his fullback, short run off the left side. These sorts of things set up that read option. You kind of go boring up the middle, boring off the left, and the quarterback just keeps it and runs with it. So watch and see how this plays out.
And I would not be surprised at all if Meade County on the sidelines didn't say to somebody, hey, keep an eye on that quarterback. We want you to spy him.
And sometimes you can't. You can go ahead and spy a guy all you want, but if that guy is more athletic than you are and faster, he's just going to outrun you around the edge. And so Meade County has got to watch that edge. They got to play disciplined defense here, or Witherspoon's going to take off and run with it again. He's looking to throw. He's got a receiver, connects with him this time. It's Davis. Davis has got good separation throughout the day, and that battle between him and Highlander has been kind of epic today. The two of them getting the best of each other on a couple different plays. Davis catches the football on this one and keeps his Bulldogs moving, and I like that play. That was cool.
That was, and I tell you what, I'm going to give a shout out to number 30, Bryce Dawson on the Meade County side. He just about tipped that ball. He got real close to it. That's a pretty high jump for a linebacker to make.
Bulldogs content to take little chunks of it here. They just want to get in that end zone. Wouldn't be surprised to see Reinheimer carry the rock here. Instead, no, it's Witherspoon throwing. He's feeling good after that last toss. This one goes off Stephen Liver's hands. Not sure what he's petitioning the ref for. He might have been bumped or something before during his route. Not going to say it, but when it hits you in the hands,
yeah, got to catch it.
You want to catch that. Looked like the play had potential, but it's only 2nd and 10. Didn't go backwards. No penalties. Nobody hurt. Reset. Try it again. Livers and Davis on one side of the football field here. Watch the right-hand side. We've seen Witherspoon take off and run there. Witherspoon looks like he's going to throw. He is going to throw. He's got Davis, but Davis was interfered with. And that ball wasn't catchable, even if Davis didn't get any contact. But still, Drew, there was some contact there. Davis got hit way before the ball got down the field. No call. Incomplete.
Yeah, and that ball was nearly intercepted on the backside of that. I think it was number 26, Zach Carter, who just about picked that off on the backside of that play. But yeah, that was an uncatchable ball, but still could have been called.
Davis and Livers left. Reinheimer, the running back. John Hardin looked to be setting up the read option there. A delay of game penalty.
No, I think they got him with a procedural.
Okay, procedural. I was going off the PA announcer. Sometimes they too see things slightly different than as they transpire. I do it weekly. Witherspoon has given his team a spark of offense that I'm not sure anybody else on the field has done today. We've seen Welsh have a big game, but Witherspoon is carrying his offensive unit with some big plays. And here he is throwing the football. Well set up play out to Davis, and he just cannot make the catch. I liked what they did there. They tried to take the cover men downfield and set Davis up short and take their chances with him in open field, but just could not connect. Now here's a big play. 4th and 15. Ball's on the 28. Too far for a kick right now. You got to get to the sticks. If I've knocked this John Hardin Bulldogs team earlier in the season, they've had some opportunities throwing the ball, and the receivers have not run their routes at least an inch longer than that chain. It's 4th down. You've got to throw it to a guy that's beyond the chains, or develop a play that's going to pick up that yardage. Let's see what they do. Witherspoon. He's being rushed by 3 right now. Goes deep, and it's broken up. Trying to get the ball to Livers. That's just good defense.
And I believe that is number 26, Zach Carter, making the play on that
Zach Carter, I'm going to give Dawson Gagel a shout. Looked like he was in on the play too, and that's just good defense. You got an explosive football player like Livers. Hey, why not? I called him out, said you got to throw the ball farther than the chains. They went for 7, and it just didn't happen. But hey, if you're John Hardin, you got 7 minutes left. Your defense has been making Meade County fumble the football. You got to tell them, your coach has got to tell people, hey, poke that ball free. Make a play, guys. Powers the quarterback. A couple guys going in different directions, and can't do that on the snap.
Yeah, definitely can't do that on the snap, but you know what? That is the kind of thing that Meade County really, really needed. After you give up the ball in your own territory, to sit there and stop John Hardin the way they did, that is a huge, huge play for a huge series for the Meade County defense.
Another lineman spotlight, number 57 on that Meade County offensive line. Check him out, Jack Parker. On the roster, he's 6'2", 256, and he's a sophomore. When I see a guy that's sophomore, it's rocking around 260, that means he could have a couple of dinners between now and his senior year and might even get a little bit bigger. He's having a good game over there. Here's the give to Babb. He's tough to tackle, but when you got 5 or 6 guys on him, he's still tough to tackle. How about that? He doesn't go down.
Yeah, a little bit too much dancing on that play. He could have bounced it to the outside after that first hit.
Stayed upright, though.
Stayed upright. After that first hit, though, if he'd have bounced it to the outside, I think he's got a couple more yards than that.
Call it second down and 15 now after the opening play of the drive. Set him back 5 yards. Highlander brings the play into his quarterback, Powers. Got a 1-score lead. I'm expecting Meade County to keep the ball on the ground, but this is the time where you can actually surprise someone with a play-action pass. We've seen them do it, and look for them to try to seal the deal a little bit later with a play-action pass. Coach didn't like some way that was set up, or he didn't like how they were defending it, so he calls timeout. And maybe they had something planned there that was cool, and it just wasn't going to work. Tonight's broadcast is a Hardin County Educational Community Television student production, HCEC-TV, a division of Hardin County Schools. Live Channel 1 programming, sponsored in part by Brandenburg Telecom, Physical Therapy Associates, eTownApartments.com, Bluegrass Cellular, eTown Exterminating, and West Point Bank. Let's talk about eTown Apartments. eTownApartments.com by Mark Harris Construction. You can take a virtual tour today at eTownApartments.com. Also, eTown Exterminating. 737-6900. Find them online at mugabug.com. Drew, we got a good football game here. The good vibe. The visitors are wondering what's going to go on. A bunch of faithful who made the trip out. John Hart to support the Bulldogs. And over here on the green side, well, there's a lot of people here.
They had this entire booth shaking on that 4th down, and it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it worked. It was an exciting play, too. Here's Powers, quarterback. 2nd and 15. He's looking to throw. Does. Got a man. Might have a catch. No. He came up with the football and got popped. And his foot must have been on the line, but that was a heck of a football play there.
That was a heck of a football
Nate Hawley.
play.
Nate Hawley's done a little bit of everything today. He's run the football. He's played a little defense. Yeah, it was a good catch on the sideline. I looked down there. He still had the ball in his hands, but I'm going to give the nod to the guy in the stripes that's got a lot better view, and he's a little closer to the action. But he took a pop over there after he got that catch.
Yeah, I think he's going to be feeling that one tomorrow.
C.J. Highlander, number 7, lined up right. Wide left. Powers got 2 other receivers. Could be throwing here. Is. He's in trouble. And John Hardin brings him down. Guess what? It's Satcher.
Just for a second, I thought they'd cough the ball up, but they call him down by contact.
Satcher, and I'll tell you what, Zach Babb in there trying to help his quarterback out. Not being a running back on that play. He was in there trying to block, and any of 4 Bulldogs we can give credit for the pass rush on there. It's Satcher that gets the credit for the sack, and good to see he's not only feeling better than when he limped off earlier, but he's making plays like we've known him to do. False start. I believe it is. It's going to be a legal procedure on the punt team. Punting tonight's been adventurous.
It has been for both teams. John Hardin had the drop earlier. Meade County's been just trying to kick it away, not let Stephen Livers get anywhere near it. Kicking game's been interesting tonight.
The farther back you go, the angles work against you. So if you don't want to kick it to Livers and you'll put it out of bounds, you're going to set up John Hardin with great field position. If you do kick it to Livers, John Hardin's going to have great field position. So let's see how this goes. Bulldogs might be content with setting up a return on this play. They know the capability of their punt returner. It's always fun to block the kick. See how it plays out. Looks like a return setup for John Hardin. Looping snap, kick is away. Not a bad kick, but not a lot of distance. Floats back, takes a friendly Bulldog bounce, then starts going upfield a little bit. But, hey, if you can come away from a punting series with the football, not only in Meade County territory, but at the 38, Drew, I think John Hardin's coaching staff's liking this setup.
Yep, and 5:50 on the clock, plenty of time to get down there and score. You don't have to worry about rushing this. You don't have to panic. Just methodical drive down the field, and they could very well tie this game up.
looking at that magical crystal ball ahead of time. If John Hardin does punch it in for a touchdown, you ask that question, do you go for 2? Well, we'll find out. And how ironic that the last time you and I worked together, it was a decision like that to go for the win at the end of that football game.
Similar score, too.
Here we go. A quarterback change has been made. Justin Russell in. Third quarterback take snaps for John Hardin tonight. Russell at least a 2 digits on his jersey. It's easy to figure out. Earlier, between Caleb and Anthony, I was having a hard time between the 8 and the 5, and those two guys about as tall as each other, too. And so Justin rocking number 16 out there, so the change has been made. A little bit of veteran leadership leads me to believe that John Hardin might be coming out running the football and trying to get some of that off-tackle stuff that we see Livers pick up big yards. He could also be looking to throw the ball to Witherspoon. Hey, he's done everything else today, right?
Yeah, he has. And I tell you what, on that last play, we called him out earlier for making a good play. Brock Wilson is the one who brought Reinheimer down on that last play.
Wilson,
I tell you, he's all over the field tonight.
Game today. Witherspoon was the quarterback. Now he's the wideout. He's on a slant route. Wasn't open. Here's Davis. Davis does grab this, and he can do great things when he's got the ball in space. And he scoots forward to the 23. Big pickup there, Drew. 20-yard pickup. And Davis has been on the wrong end of a couple of drops, and that was perhaps his biggest play of the game.
Yeah, it was. And I tell you what, he just about had it again. But the turf monster got him. He slipped and slid as he was trying to juke around a couple of Meade County defenders. But what a play.
Blame it on the band, right? The band were out there playing great music at halftime and marching all over the place, and maybe they tore up a little patch right there or something. Still thinking about the band. It was a good show. Here's Russell. Russell looking deep. He's got a wide receiver. It's Livers. Touchdown, Bulldogs. It is.
What a great play by Stephen Livers. We were wondering when he was going to score.
It's the big play that we said it was going to happen. It's Livers as a receiver, not running the ball. We knew that it could come in many different forms. It just manifested itself as points, and it just did. A great toss by Russell. Russell comes in the game late in the fourth quarter after 2 other guys have played, and here's the answer to my question. Do you go for 2? No. We're going to tie this football game up, and they're going to try to win it later. Snaps down, kick up, blocked.
And what a great play. You know, I think that the ball did not get held right. I think it was a little bit off and then just kicked it right into the line. What a great break for the Green Wave, who just gave up the first big play to Stephen Livers, but now they retain a 1-point lead.
Any deviation in the timing of the kick is going to give the defense an opportunity to come away with a block. On that particular play, the snap was low, and it was a disaster from the beginning. They also got great penetration. I'm not sure they wouldn't have blocked that kick if it was a perfect snap. I saw 7 Highlander in that mix, but I'm not sure he's the one that actually stymied the play. But nonetheless, John Hardin, after a spectacular toss from Russell to Livers, still trails in this one. Now it's on their defense again to hold serve and maybe give yourself an opportunity to win this at the end. Boy,
and if you're
folks stuck with us on this one.
If you're listening to it, you want to hear 1 hit when the ball is snapped to the kicker, not 2.
No, you never want to hear it to don't. Bulldogs set the kick.
2 playmakers standing right back there, Highlander and Babb.
I expect another bouncy ball. We've seen a bunch of it from both teams. Meade County booted one to the end zone earlier. Not sure that John Hardin's kicking game has that 60-yard distance on the kickoff, but every time I say it, they prove me wrong. That's why these guys win the job. So we're going to see how this plays out. It's tilted for a real kick, but I'm expecting a line drive. It's a line drive. It's going to go right to Babb. Babb fields it at the 15. He's got blockers up the right side, slows down, checks out his options, and has none. 32 is where Meade County's drive will start. Meade County has a 1-point lead, Drew, and all they have to do is keep moving the chains.
Exactly. That's all they have to do. John Hardin only has 1 timeout. They cannot stop the clock if it gets within 2 minutes down. So if you're Meade County, just run the ball. Don't try to do anything fancy. and you could come out of here with a W.
It's tough when you're a defensive coordinator and the opposition has a 1-point lead. Of course you want to shut the other team down, but you have to ask yourself, are you going to gamble and send some extra guys and be aggressive? Because that's when you see big plays happen against you. I'm real curious to see how both squads play this out in the last couple of minutes. Here's a pitch out to Babb. That worked earlier, but John Hardin's made adjustments, and they're all over this with multiple players. So, you're going to stick to what got you here if you're Meade County. And I expect to see that run to Welsh here coming up.
And it looks like Babb's helmet came off, so he will have to come off of the field for a play. So I'm going to go with you.
It won't be to Babb.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you. I think it's going to be to Welch right up the middle.
We have seen that Powers has the ability to throw the football. At some point in time in this drive, could we see that play-action pass that just absolutely is the game winner for them? I know they have it, and they dial it up to seal the deal. Could happen soon. Exchange problem again. Powers runs into Welsh, and boy, that play was doomed from the get-go. But give credit to a swarming Bulldog defense. And I asked earlier, will the Bulldogs be aggressive? They came with it that time.
Yeah, they did. They pinned their ears back, brought the blitz, and just a little bit of miscommunication causes a huge problem. But the important thing for Meade County, both players held on to the ball. Welch just about broke out again. He fought against that tackle as hard as he could. A disastrous play, but not as disastrous as it could have been.
3rd and 12. They're in punted away territory right here, so they got to think of what they're going to do. I would watch C.J. Highlander at the top of the screen. He's on the left-hand side, and that's the direction that Powers can throw a zip to. Here we go. Powers. Instead, he's going right side. It's a sweep to 26.
Zach Carter.
Bulldogs aren't having it. Curious if they would call a timeout here. I guess they're not wanting to use it and save it in case they need it later. 4th down. Meade County's punting game hasn't been their blue ribbon aspect of today's game. I say that respectfully. And it was a blocked extra point that got us where we're at right now. Otherwise, we'd be tied. John Hardin's going to have an opportunity here to take a lead in this football game. Guess who's back? The guy that scored the almost tying touchdown. Stephen Livers, one of the most electrifying big game, big playmakers around. Look for the punter to try to boot this out of bounds. Here we go. And Meade County calls timeout on a punt. If you're a coach, it drives you nuts. Somebody was where they weren't supposed to be. Something wasn't right. You never call timeout on a punt unless that absolute imminent disaster is about to happen. And who knows down there. Sometimes you watch the body English of the coach on the sidelines, and you can tell something ain't right before they call timeout. Because, Drew, nobody wants to call timeout before a punt.
No, they don't. And, absolute disaster is not what you can have right now. So sometimes it is better to go ahead and burn that timeout and get everybody where they need to be.
I've been guilty of it myself as an offensive coordinator. I've had intent to run a fake, a game-changing absolute. They're going to be talking about this at their 40th reunion. Fake punt that just seals the deal in a football game, and it doesn't look like anybody's going to be faked by it, and I've had to call a timeout on a punt. So I don't know what the intent was there, but could have been. Or maybe someone was just not in the right place. Another one hopper, and this punt might not even make it back to the line of scrimmage.
That was a disaster.
It did not.
And now John Hardin has great field position for this drive.
Negative net yard punt. And, I say that respectfully. I've been a coach, and it drives you nuts. You can practice it. You can snap it to your punter 100 times, and it'll be perfect in practice. You can snap it 80 times before the game, and it'll be perfect. But you get out there with the lights on and people's parents in the stands and your girlfriend's out there, and there's big guys from Elizabethtown rushing after you. It's a whole different ballgame when you're punting. And I don't know who to blame that on, but the snap didn't look good.
Yeah, the snap was very low and just hard to gather in for the punter.
Russell, the quarterback. John Hardin calls a timeout before the drive even starts. I don't know what happened there, Drew, but that's not where you want to use that timeout.
Yeah, no, and that's their final timeout. They are completely out. 2 minutes, 20 seconds right now for the John Hardin offense to get into scoring range, whether that be an attempt at a field goal or getting it into the end zone. Very, very important for John Hardin to make something out of this drive.
Yeah, I really don't have the access to the information out there, but the coach in me would just love to know what happened there. For them to come out on the field and and they're pumped and they're ready to score and there's 2 minutes left and you only got one timeout and you have to call it before the drive even starts. Sometimes there could be a brilliant idea over there. Maybe you see something and you're like, whoa, hey, I got to call the guys over and tip this off. I'm not going to rule out Russell taking a shot at the end zone.
He's got a big arm. We've seen him use it. He can definitely take that shot if he wants to.
3 receivers right. Guess what? He's backed up, and look at that. Look at the time he's got. And he takes a shorter shot, and it is not grabbed by Witherspoon. Pass a little bit behind Witherspoon. Not going to hang that on Anthony, but whatever they did at that timeout, they said, look, if you get in man coverage, I want you to do it. I like my odds with Livers against a slower cover corner. Witherspoon's pretty fast too, and we've seen Davis get some separation. So I'm not sure his coach didn't tell him, hey, let's take a shot at this one. It just wasn't going to happen. He had time.
I believe that was Bryce Dawson again, who just about picked that one off when it came off that deflection.
We've said his name a few times today for sure. Russell, the quarterback. Man, this crowd's going nuts. They are foot thundering away. Here's Livers, goes off the right tackle, cuts back inside. He's going to have a Bulldog first down. Stop the clock, move the chains. That's exactly what they want. And Drew, when you come out and you throw deep on or try to throw deep on first down, Meade County's thinking in that, hey, we don't want to let anyone get behind us mind frame. So they're going to take a little bit of pressure off the quarterback, and that works right into the Bulldogs' game plan.
Yeah, it did.
Hey, it worked last time. Let's do it again. Here's Livers. And don't anybody say he's not tough. He just put his head down and let somebody have it.
He did, and I tell you what, right now Meade County's trying to keep everything in front of them. They're almost into that prevent defense. I've heard a lot of people say that prevents you from winning.
Time management is key here. Meade County only one timeout left. Can't remember, they took a timeout before a punt earlier. And they'd probably like to have those timeouts back. Bulldogs want to come away with points. You can't walk out of here without points. You're still trailing. Here's Russell. He throws the football. Almost interception.
Almost intercepted.
Oh, so
twice.
close. Brock Wilson has had such a football game today, and that is one that he wishes he could just have over.
Yeah, not only did Brock Wilson get a hand on it, but a diving attempt by Cole Miller, who, if he's a foot closer to that when it comes off of Wilson's hands, he's got a pick. He's got a game seal.
I feel for Brock Wilson right now. He's had a heck of a football game, made a heads-up play on a fumble earlier in this football game, and I said, let's go back to that a little bit later. But, man, that was so close. This football game is over if he makes that interception. Here we go. Here's Russell, 3rd and 5. He's looking to throw. He does. Tosses it up into the air. He's got a receiver, and Witherspoon tries to one-hand it, and I think the corner is going to get flagged. Dawson Gagel for interference on this play, and I'm not sure how I feel about that, Drew.
I'm not sure I saw interference on that play.
It seemed to be timed all right. I don't have the luxury of a replay, and the ball was in the air. It was a catchable ball. Witherspoon tried to one-hand the football, and that is exactly what they're going to do. They're going to flag Dawson Gagel. And while not an automatic first down, the yardage itself was going to give John Hardin a first down with 1:17 to play in the game. And, gosh, I hate to see it come down to that.
I'm going to have to watch this game again because I did not see a pass interference there. The ball looked like it just floated a little bit short of Witherspoon's hands.
It looked like a floater that might not have had the zip on it that they liked, and it kind of looked like the contact was around when the ball was arriving, and nonetheless, that's what they called. Here's Russell. He throws to Witherspoon. Witherspoon has a touchdown.
And that's just heartbreaking for the Meade County defense, for Meade County, the Green Waves.
I'm excited for John Hardin. They took advantage of an opportunity there. I'm just not sure how they got to that place, and I'm not sure that they wouldn't have scored on other plays anyway. So let's give props where due. That was a nice toss from Russell. Russell is the guy that's more of the throwing quarterback on this roster. That was a nice connection on a slant route, and it was just Witherspoon doing the rest. How fitting is it, though, Drew, if that turns out to be the winning score, that Witherspoon gets it, because he's the guy that really changed the feel of this football game. Here's a toss again over to Livers.
That's going to be a 2-point conversion for John Hardin.
Sorry, correct that is Witherspoon in the corner. As great as these boxes are, the corner is a little bit hard for us to see, especially with the band guys around and stuff, but that's Witherspoon picking up the point after as well on the touchdown. That's going to set up a 7-point lead. 1:12 to play.
And this game isn't over.
No.
We've seen big plays from both teams. This game not over by any stretch of the imagination. 1:12 and a timeout for the Green Wave.
This could be huge for John Hardin and their confidence right now. Their defense was faced with the challenge today to stop one of the state's top rushing attacks, and they did. And they've popped the ball out of Welch's hands a couple of times, or at least on the exchange a couple of times in big moments to cause turnovers. And the defense has stepped up when they needed to. Anthony Witherspoon has had one heck of a football game today, 35-28. We got Zach Babb playing football out there. We know he can score from anywhere on the field, so we're going to have to see how this ends. And once again, if you're Meade County at home, you score a touchdown, you go for two. We'll see if they score a touchdown first. Kick's going to be underway. It's tilted. I think he's going to try to put a little bit into it for field position's sake. Nope, it's a skipper. Goes through the legs of one of the linemen that they didn't want returning the ball. Here we go. It's picked up by 10. That's Nate Hawley. And here's the Green Wave. Powers can throw the football. He's got Highlander to throw to, and Highlander's caught some passes. But Highlander right now is not going to be part of the group. He does. He grabs a Pelé and he goes back out there. And I expect to see Powers throwing the football here. We haven't really seen a type of a screen run, but I'd certainly like to see what kind of chances that Babb would have in open field against some defensive backs. Here's John Hardin's opportunity to shine. Defense has played pretty well tonight against a good offensive team. Snap is to Powers. Powers is in trouble defensively, and he's sacked. That's big number 56 with a defensive play for John Hardin. Drew, boom.
Yeah, and just like that, and look at them. They're going hurry up. They're
Isaiah Reed.
And look at that. They just about caught John Hardin's defense off guard by going hurry up on that.
Powers rolls out. He was under duress. I've said his name earlier today, but Dominic Hope putting some heat on the QB, and Powers didn't have any choice. Now you're in a tough 3rd and 8. And there's no thinking about it. There's no punting going on. And I dare mention punting for Meade County, because if there's anything that let this Bulldog team back in the football game, it's been a failure to perform by the punting unit.
Yeah, special teams has been kind of the
Achilles heel.
Achilles
Hang it
heel
all on the punter, because if he can't get a clean snap, then it's going to be tough to kick the football away. Here's Powers looking to make a play. They just need about 8 or 9 here. Rolls left. That's the way he likes to throw. Under all kinds of heat, and guess who? Once again, that's 52, Dominic Hope. Give that guy a game ball. No matter how this game comes out, Dominic Hope's been playing some football today, and now it's going to be a 4th and yeah.
Yeah, it's fourth and the entire. I mean, 4th and 8 in your own territory. This is not the way Meade County wanted this game to turn out.
Yeah, after the sack, 4th and 14. How about that? Meade County got to pick up a first down. We're going to talk again about this fundamentals. Somebody on that sideline, they get called a timeout. They got to tell their players out there, you got to get to the chains. I don't care how you do it. And Zane, you got to throw it to a guy that's beyond the chains. You can't dump it off to a 5-yard guy. John Hardin decided to dial up the pass rush. We haven't seen Meade County throw much today because they haven't had to. Their running game's good, but now they got to make up yards. And John Hardin said, hey, we're coming after you. We got the lead. We don't care. We're coming after you.
Yep.
And that front 4 up there is winning.
Yeah, pinned their ears back and just rushed them. And now, if you're John Hardin, just keep everybody behind the sticks. Keep everything in front of you. And you can walk out of here with a W and end this winning streak.
I haven't said Malik McGregor's name. He's 75, and he's been bringing the heat today, too. But this game is over. That's another sack for 56, Isaiah Reed. Isaiah Reed and Dominic Hope defensively for John Hardin just shut down this Green Wave
and even
football
worse,
team.
Zane Powers is not getting up. He has just collapsed back onto the field. He does not look good.
31.9 seconds to play. We had an exciting football game today. Early, Meade County looked like they might sail away with this one, a 13-0 lead. A couple of big defensive plays by John Hardin kept them in the football game. They picked up a touchdown right before the half, 13-7. It came out, made a quarterback shift. Anthony Witherspoon showed us some razzle-dazzle with some read options, picked up big yards on the football field. Next thing you know, we were in a back-and-forth contest. And then, when it looked like John Hardin was going to tie this football game up, their extra point was blocked, so they're still trailing. It was a poor punt, in fact, a negative net yard punt by Meade County that gave John Hardin the football back. And an amazing drive was culminated with a toss to Anthony Witherspoon for the game-winning score. We saw Livers catch a touchdown that should have tied the football game earlier. We saw a whole lot of good stuff today, Drew. I really feel bad for the Green Wave. They played as well as I think they could today. The special teams coach can have a talk with his guys. But let's talk about Anthony Witherspoon. Let's talk about Dominic Hope and Isaiah Reed as to who won this football game for John Hardin.
Yeah, I tell you what, a great play. You know, just a great game for John Hardin. This is the kind of thing you have to do. You have got to bounce back when you're behind the 8 ball as far as your record goes. You know, they came in here 2-3. Now they're 3-3. They're looking a little bit better. I tell you what, though, I will say this: great to see number 14 Zane Powers walk off under his own power. He looks like he's still a little bit shaken up, but he's going over there to give the congratulatory high fives. A great play by John Hardin. They never let this game get out of hand. They kept Zach Babb in check. You know, they let some of the other runners get a little bit on him. They let Deshaun Welch run on him a little bit, but they were able to keep Babb under check, and they were able to keep this game in front of them. And then once they got on offense, they didn't let the opportunity slip from them, and they got in the end zone when they needed to.
Deshaun Welch, big yards today for Meade County. They're going to remember a couple of fumbles, and they'll be talking to him about that. I'm not sure they were his fault. Guys were all over him, and there was some exchange problems on that. Brock Wilson made good plays all over the place, and the I Feel For You award, I think, goes to Brock Wilson in this football game because he had an opportunity to intercept a pass, and I'm not saying he should have. It just didn't work out. It didn't happen. Had an opportunity late in the game to seal the game, and it bounces off his hands. The next play is a questionable pass interference call that we'll have to look at again, and I very well could be changing my terminology after watching it again, but a questionable pass interference penalty bails out John Hardin on the ensuing play. On the play after that, they throw to Witherspoon, who fittingly scores a game-winning touchdown in this one, and the following point after touchdown, and that's where we're at. Drew, it's been a great one. On behalf of Drew Bernardi and our entire HCEC-TV crew, join us next week on Friday for another great football game. I'm David Gary. Thanks for watching football with us tonight.